Committee meeting between the Portfolio Committee on Social Development and the Select Committee on Social Development, Believe in Health in the NCOP. I welcome and greet the Department of Social Development. I can see the Honorable Deputy Minister, and I can also see the senior management of the department, and I can also see the support officials from Parliament, from both the department, the Portfolio Committee and the Select
Recording in progress.
are all welcome to this meeting. And we will have a time just now to hear how this meeting will go on from now. But I would like to ask that we all observe one moment of silence for prayer or meditation, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good morning again to those who have just joined us. And again, you are welcome to this joint Portfolio Committee meeting. Without any waste of time, I will ask Lindiwe and the Committee Secretary of the Select Committee to take us through the agenda and how this meeting will happen going forward. Over to you, Lindiwe.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, Chair and members and the Deputy Minister to our meeting, Chair. It's safe to acknowledge that we do have the Chairperson of the Portfolio of the Select Committee on Social Services, Member Finis. She's with us. Chair, you have already welcomed us. I wish to confirm the members of Parliament from the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. I have you, Chairperson, Member Masango.
I cannot hear anything on my side.
Am I audible from other members?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are, Lindiwe.
Okay, Chair.
Yes, Lind.
Thanks so much. I think maybe there's a problem challenge from your side, Chair. Also, Chair, I have member Mtsweni, and I have a member Mahato, I have member Mare, I have member Peters, I have Mr. Member Ramayila with us. Chair, I've received an apology from the Minister, Mahmoud Tolashe, who is unable to attend today's meeting. She's been assigned by the President to attend the 4th session of the South Africa-Mozambique Binational Commission taking place in Maputo from yesterday and today. So those are the apologies, Chair, I have managed to capture. If I have omitted to include any member, they can indicate so. Thank you very much, Chair. And then we'll proceed to receive an overview from the Deputy Minister now that the Minister is not with us. And thereafter, Chair will receive a briefing from SASSA DSD on the recommended list of suitable candidates to serve as new members of the Independent Tribunal. Chair?
Go ahead, Lindiwe. I don't know.
Sorry, Member Kwabaza.
Oh, Reverend Kabaza, yes.
You are welcome, Honorable Member.
Thanks
Go
very
ahead.
much, Chair. And then we'll receive that presentation on the suitable recommended list of suitable candidates to serve as new members of the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals. Chair, we will embark on deliberations and receive responses from the department. And thereafter, Chair, we will conclude that business, and then we'll proceed to move forward to the internal businesses. Where there is a referral from the Speaker for consideration and reporting, we need to produce a report. We have discussed with the committee secretary from the select committee that both committees, we can just consider and adopt the report simultaneously. The two committees will have separate reports, but the content will be the same. So we'll start with the PC to adopt and consider the report. It's just a one-page report, Chair. And then after that, from 11:30 to 11:45, and then we'll proceed to consider and adopt the report of the select committee on the same subject matter. And then, Chair, we will proceed to do our internal business as the Portfolio Committee on Social Development to consider our oversight report on an oversight to KZN, the report that the oversight that we conducted sometime in October. And then, Chair, will also proceed to consider and adopt a committee report on a petition by the Western Cape elderly citizens. Chair, we have two sets of minutes for today's consideration and adoption, the minutes of the 5 and the 12. And then, Chair, there is a matter, any other matter that we would want to discuss with the committee, and then you have your closing remarks from 12:45 to 1 o'clock. Chairperson, this is the agenda for today's proceedings for the consideration and adoption by these joint portfolio committees. Thanks very much, Chair. Over to you.
Thank you, Lindiwe. I would like to hear from the Honorable Chairperson of the Select Committee on Social Services, and also if there's a need, if there's anything that Lindiwe would have left out that the Secretary of the Select Committee would then have a take on this matter before we go on with the agenda to be adopted. I don't know who, and this is my fault, I don't know who the chairperson is, but I will give this time now to the Honorable Chairperson to take over. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Co-Chair. My name is Desiree Finis. I'm the chairperson of the Select Committee on Social Services. Honorable Chair, from my side, I think we have minutes that we must adopt, but we will handle that separately, Honorable Chair. But when you start with your internal business, we will be requested to excuse ourselves, please, Chair. That is all from my side.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would like to know before you go if you will consider and adopt the report together with us, or that's when you separate and you do it as the Select Committee separately.
No, we will do it together with you as a portfolio committee, Chair. We do have it.
No, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, for that. And you are obviously welcome to this joint portfolio committee meeting. Any word from the committee secretary of the Select Committee on Social Services, or can we go ahead?
Good morning, chairpersons. Good morning, colleagues, Deputy Minister, everyone on the platform. Chairpersons, I would just like to confirm the attendance of the committee members of the Select Committee on Social Services. We have Chairperson Finis, Mr. Feni, Ms. Machobeni, Ms. Kennedy, Ms. Mhlongu, Ms. Breed, and Ms. Duplessis. I do have an apology from Ms. Adrianza, who is still currently hospitalized. Thank you, Chairs.
Thank you so much for that. So, honorable members, as you have been confirmed to be attending this meeting, you are most welcome to this meeting. And I know I'm speaking for the co-chair, Honorable Finis, on this matter. And so we would like the adoption of this agenda, please. May I have hands to adopt the agenda of the joint committee? Honorable Duplessis, and after that, Honorable Briet. So good to see you again, Honorable Briet. Honorable Duplessis, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Chair. I move to adopt the agenda.
Thank you so much for that. And I will hand over to the Honourable Brett, please.
Morning, Honourable Chairperson. It's good to see you too. I would second the adoption. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honourable members, we have an agenda that has been duly adopted, on the basis of which we will now go on with our meeting. And to do that, I would like to hand over to the Honourable Deputy Minister to give us his overview. Thank you so much, Honourable Deputy Minister. It's over to you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. As we near the end of the year, let me greet everyone, Sani Bonani. Let me begin by extending my appreciation to the Portfolio Committee and the Select Committee on Health and Social Services for agreeing to hold a joint sitting to enable the Department to complete our legislative consultation in a single meeting. As a social development sector, we are mandated to take care of vulnerable groups, and in terms of the Constitution, we need to ensure that social assistance is provided to all those that are in need thereof. It is for this reason that SASSA has been established to ensure that social assistance is provided through a non-fragmented, unbiased, and uniform manner to ensure that everyone who qualifies for social assistance receives such assistance. In the context of extremely high levels of poverty and inequality in the country, our social assistance program has proved to be one of government's most effective interventions to tackle the challenges. To date, the department has been able to pay more than 18 million beneficiaries on a monthly basis to enable them to access the various grants for children, persons with disabilities, and older persons. We've gone out of our way to tell people to apply for these grants, so there's no need to have starvation in South Africa. But unfortunately, some people just don't apply, and we need to make a special effort to ensure that people are aware of these grants, like I always say, from the cradle to the grave, so at least they have money to buy food. A further 8 million unemployed adults continue to benefit from the temporary SRD provision of 370 per month, and I hope that before 2030, that will be 1,000 Rand per month. But that depends on the Treasury. In the delivery of this constitutional mandate, we also need to ensure that we provide the people we serve with the opportunity to access the right to administrative justice where they were denied access to our services. So while on the one hand, we go out of our way to let people know about these grants, you have to qualify. There are criteria, and but we do have an opportunity for people that are not given the grants to be reconsidered. This is an extremely important provision to ensure that the poor are able to access their rights without having to resort to the court, where the access may be impeded by the time and costs involved in court proceedings. We provide this opportunity through the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals, which has been established to consider appeals received from persons who believe SASSA did not make the right decision in rejecting their grant application. The tribunal is established in terms of Section 18 of the Social Assistance Act of 2004, which provides for the appointment of independent medical doctors, legal practitioners, and technically skilled members of civil society to adjudicate these appeals against SASSA's decisions. To this end, therefore, we are here to inform you of the process that the department has undertaken at the beginning of this year to invite applications from persons who have the necessary qualifications and experience to be enlisted as members of the Independent Tribunal. I remember there was a time where I was personally concerned that the short list was not diverse, did not have members with the priority skills that were needed, that there were too few medical doctors, but we hope to get a report that will satisfy Parliament. For the adjudication of appeals, we appoint independent, qualified medical and legal practitioners, as well as persons with the required technical skills, to serve as members of the Independent Tribunal on an ad hoc basis. Due to the pressing need for our people to exercise their right to lodge appeals if they are denied access and have their appeals timeously attended, we need to ensure that this process is fast-tracked to ensure acceleration of service delivery. The tribunal has to adjudicate and finalize appeals within 90 days of receipt, and accordingly we cannot be found lacking as a sector because of administrative delays in appointing the necessary qualified persons to the tribunal to consider the appeals. The duty of the minister is accordingly to timeously appoint qualified medical and legal practitioners, as well as persons with the required technical skills, to serve on the Independent Tribunal for the next 3 years. As per our legislation, the minister is duty-bound to consult with Parliament on the recommended candidates before finalizing the appointment. Our request is for Parliament to consider the recommended candidates and support the appointment to ensure the department continues to provide social grants in a just and fair, efficient manner to all qualifying applicants. I now hand you, Honourable Chair, over to the department to take you through the detailed presentation on the processes we have undertaken to recruit and identify appropriate candidates for this important work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Minister. Of course, you can go ahead and hand over the time to present the presentation by the department or SASSA. I just want to communicate that once the presentation is done, the co-chair will take over the chairing of the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honourable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, as well as the Select Committee, Honourable members of the Portfolio Committee and Select Committees, as well as the DMs, the Deputy Minister. My name is Antoinette Brick, and I'm the Chief Director for the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals. We provide the administrative and secretariat support to the Independent Tribunal, as we are members of the department itself. So I'm within the Chief Directorate Social Assistance Appeals. Today I'm also accompanied by the relevant managers within the various spheres of my Chief Directorate. I want to just indicate, Honourable Chairperson, I just need to submit an apology on behalf of the DG. The DG is currently also within accompanying the Minister in Mozambique, and our Deputy Director General, Mrs. Brenda Sabeku, is currently also joint chairing the International Monetary Fund meeting that's taking part or currently. So she will join us the moment that she's introduced there and actually has done the welcoming. She will join this meeting. If you allow me, Chair, I would like to take you then through the detailed process that we went through as a Chief Director, to ensure that we can submit today the recommended candidates to you for consultation purposes as required in terms of the relevant legislation.
Please go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. They're just sharing the presentation currently. They gave us the presentation rights as far as I know, so the presentation will appear shortly. Sorry for that delay.
Not yet.
Apparently, it seems that we still, the host must just enable us to participate, to share our screen.
I've just seen you as the co-host now. Please go ahead. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, as indicated, I'm going to start talking. Just to indicate that the list of recommended candidates for the appointment as members of the Independent Tribunal is served now before the Joint Committee. And we once again thank you so much for the fact that you are accommodating us to have a joint meeting. The next slide, you will see what is the presentation outlay. Sorry. There you'll see the purpose, the background, the mandate of the Independent Tribunal, the composition of the tribunal, the criteria for appointment for all relevant members, the appointment process, the advertisement and selection of the recommended members, then the list of recommended members, and then the final is the recommendation that will be served before you as the committees. Now, as indicated, the purpose of this presentation is for the Portfolio Committee on Social Development and the Select Committee on Health and Social Services to note the process undertaken by the Minister to appoint medical, legal practitioners and technically skilled civil society candidates as members of the Independent Tribunal, and also to support the recommended candidates to be appointed by the Minister to consider social assistance-related appeals. Just in terms of the background, as you are aware, in terms of Section 27 of the Constitution, every person has the right to have access to social security, including if they are unable to support themselves and their dependents, appropriate social assistance, as the Deputy Minister indicated. The Bill of Rights further determines in Section 33 that everyone has the right to just administrative action. To give effect to this right to just administrative action, the Social Assistance Act provides applicants and beneficiaries of social assistance with the right to appeal a decision made by SASSA in relation to their grant application. So it's important to note that we are a separate and independent from SASSA. Just further to the background, before 2008, the Social Assistance Regulatory Framework provided for an internal appeals function to the Minister, which was delegated at the time to the various MECs. This assignment to provinces was, however, found to be unconstitutional, which then required that this function be exercised at the national level to ensure uniform application of national standards insofar as it relates to social assistance. And this is specifically to ensure that people in the different provinces will not be prejudiced because they are in another province. The Social Assistance Act at the time accordingly provided for an internal appeal mechanism to the Minister, which was delegated on an ad hoc basis to DSD Legal Services. I don't know how many of the honourable members was around at that time, but that accumulated then into a huge backlog. And due to the large number of appeals, the Independent Tribunal was then established in 2008, and members were appointed by the Minister to serve on the tribunal to consider and adjudicate these appeals. Section 18 of the Social Assistance Act determines specifically, as indicated by the Deputy Minister, that if an applicant or beneficiary disagrees with a decision of the agency in relation to his or her application for social assistance, that person or person acting on his or her behalf may, within 90 days of the decision being made, lodge a written appeal with the Independent Tribunal in the prescribed manner. In terms of the regulatory framework, the tribunal needs to adjudicate appeals within a 90-day period from receipt thereof, and that requirement is also in line with requirements of the Promotion of Administrative Justice Act. Members of this tribunal are accordingly required to act openly, fairly, and impartially during the assessment of the documentary evidence and the adjudication process. I think it's very important to note that the adjudication of appeals is a quasi-judicial function, and that members who are appointed to serve on the Independent Tribunal are not board members. And accordingly, I think this is important to understand the difference and to understand that members of the tribunal, even though the tribunal has similar powers and procedures to court, where they evaluate the documentary evidence, they have to apply the existing laws to the specified facts to make a decision. So these decisions are ultimately based on administrative discretion within the regulatory framework to establish rules rather than to make new policies. So the Independent Tribunal members do not have the power to act or to make decisions outside the regulatory framework like a normal court of law would be able to do. And it's also important that members realize that these members are executing their functions in terms of its administrative functions, where they are actually executing these functions on behalf of the minister. So the medical person will utilize their medical skills to assess, the legal person will exercise their legal skills, and that's similar with the technical skilled persons. And these members do not have any functions like board members, like, for instance, accountability in relation to oversight of SASSA, or in relation to determining policy, risk management, etc. They're not a board, and that's accordingly their functions are very defined in terms of the legislation. Sorry, John, just one back. The composition of the Independent Tribunal, I think this is also important to understand, is dependent and based on the specific type of social assistance. That was the grant type to which the appeal relates. So where the dispute relates to the medical assessment of that appellant, that's, for instance, in the case of a disability, care dependency, war veterans, or grant in aid, the tribunal will be constituted by a medical practitioner who will then assess and make recommendations on all medical aspects and advise the legal practitioner thereon, and then a legal practitioner who will then decide and rule whether the decision of SASSA is to be confirmed, varied, or set aside. And that legal person will then, as the chairperson, record the reasons and sign off on the decision of the tribunal, which will then be communicated to SASSA for implementation as well as to the appellants. Where the dispute relates to any other aspect not mentioned above, for instance, in the case of a means test, that means where a person's income was above the threshold, or procedural appeals, that's where SASSA did not necessarily follow the required processes for review. That appeal will only be considered by a legal practitioner, because the issue at hand is not medical related, it's procedurally related, which are prescribed in terms of the Act. Where the dispute relates to COVID SRD, the appeal should be considered by a technically skilled civil society member, who will then is responsible to assess and validate all the databases to confirm whether this person was in receipt of income or financial assistance through the electronic processes. The criteria for medical practitioners, as well as the others, are set in the 2022 appeal regulations. So we cannot go outside the scope thereof. The requirements are determined, and it indicates that the medical practitioner must be a person who are registered with the Health Professional Council of South Africa. The person must have at least 5 years post-registration experience. The person must be registered with the Health Professional Council of South Africa, and that registration should not have been revoked. It needs to be a person that has knowledge of the relevant provisions of the Act and the regulations. It needs to be a person who is not in the full-time employee of the public service or an organ of state, and also a person whose appointment will not give rise to a conflict of interest. The advertisement went further to say it also indicated that experience in the evaluation of medical impairment will be an added advantage. Insofar as the criteria for the legal practitioners, the regulations determine that it must be a person who has at least 5 years post-admission experience in the practice of law, or at least 5 years postgraduate experience in the administration of law. Also, the person needs to have knowledge of the relevant provisions of the Act and the regulations. The person's appointment must not give rise to a conflict of interest. And once again, the person cannot be in the full-time employ of the public service or an organ of state. In terms of the civil society members, which is the technically skilled persons, the regulations require that the civil society member must be a person who has appropriate qualifications and skills as per the determination of the minister, who has knowledge of the relevant provisions of the Act, who is not in the full-time employment of the public service or an organ of state, and also whose appointment will not give rise to conflict of interest. The advertisement further specified the appropriate qualifications and skills as per the determination of the minister as follows. Firstly, the person needs to have a relevant degree or diploma in IT and or financial audit. There we specifically requested Java and SQL skills and experience in the development of databases, data scripting and bulk data analysis or financial audit experience. And then also the person must at least be in position of at least 5 years post-qualification experience. And also the computer literacy is compulsory as they are working with databases. The appointment process is also specified in terms of the Act and the regulations, so we can't go outside the Act and the regulations. The appointment process determines that the minister must, after consultation with Parliament, appoint an independent tribunal comprised of appropriate qualified persons, as may be described, to serve as members of the independent tribunal to consider appeals against decisions of the agency. The Social Systems Appeal Regulations issued in May 2022 inter alia determines the process and the procedure for the appointment, as well as the qualifying criteria, which I just went through with you as members. The 2022 regulations further require that a notice be published on appropriate media platforms inviting persons who comply with requirements to be appointed as members of the tribunal. It further requires that the minister appoints a selection panel to consider all applications and to compile a list of suitable candidates who are recommended for appointment. And that is why we are here. That list was developed or compiled, and it served before the minister, and now it's before you as the Parliament. What did we do as a department in relation to the process of advertisement? The advertisements to invite suitable candidates to be enlisted were placed in 2 national newspapers, namely the Sunday Times and the Sowetan. The reason for those 2 is because our communication services indicated that those are the widely read newspapers. It was further advertised in the South African Medical Association Journal during April 2025 with a closing date of 30 May 2025. So we gave the members more than a month or candidates to actually lodge their applications. We went further to also ensure that these advertisements were placed on all departmental media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And we also extended this advertisement to various organizations of and for people with disabilities. Now, how much, insofar as it relates to the applications that we received, how many did we receive? We received 153 applications, 35 from medical practitioners, 95 from legal practitioners, and 23 from technically skilled members of civil society. This included existing members who are currently serving on the tribunal who reapplied. All the applicants were aged between the age of 32 and 71. 46 of the applications were females and 54 were males. And insofar as it relates to the geographical spread, 58 of the applications were received from within Gauteng and 42% across the other 8 provinces. What did we do insofar as it relates to the selection process? Before these candidates were even going through to the selection panel, all applicants were vetted through the relevant governing bodies, for instance, the HPSCSA as well as the law societies. The selection panel, which was approved by the minister, convened then during June to consider all applicants based on the qualifying criteria as set in the regulations and the advertisement. What did we use as basis to determine the number of medical or tribunal members we're looking for? We based it on the estimated number of appeals that we considered to receive by the tribunal within the next year, which is approximately 8,000 appeals per annum, which required then a total number of 60 medical practitioners to be appointed, 20 legal practitioners, and 3 technically skilled civil society members. And those are recommended for appointment as the members of the tribunal. Insofar as it relates to the selection process, it's important that I also indicate to you that Regulation 410 of the Appeals Regulations provides the Minister with the power to reappoint existing qualifying tribunal members for one further term of 3 years. So it means that if a person is currently serving on the tribunal, but it's the first 3 years, they can be reappointed for another 3 years. However, if they already served 2 consecutive periods of 3 years, that's 6 years, they could not be reappointed or considered. The number of existing tribunals who only served 1 period of 3 years and who, based on the quality of their adjudication services and following the vetting processes, were recommended for reappointment by the Minister is 6 for medical, 8 for legal, and 2 for technically skilled civil society members. Parliament was previously consulted on these persons, and accordingly, they are not included in the current recommended list before Parliament. In terms of the 22 regulations, as I indicated, applicants who are in the employment of an organ of state or who already served 2 consecutive periods of 3 years were not eligible for enlistment. Now, if we go to the recommended candidates, that's currently before the committee. The total list of recommended candidates to be considered to be appointed consists of 9 medical, 12 legal practitioners, and then 1 technically skilled member. The medical practitioners who are recommended all have extensive experience in occupational health and are registered with the HPCSA. All the legal practitioners who are recommended have experience in medical-related impairments, social security, or other types of administrative law experience, for instance, COIDA, RAF, different types of administrative tribunals, where they were required to assess and adjudicate. And then the technical skilled persons who are recommended all of at least 5 years post-qualification experience and illustrated Java and SQL skills and experience as required in the advertisement. Now we go to the recommended medical practitioners. The following list of candidates are accordingly recommended for appointment and is currently serving before you as honourable members for consideration and consultation. Of the 35 applications received, 16 candidates in total were recommended for appointments, of which 7 are reappointments. So you won't see their names in it because they were presented 3 years ago. But the 9 you will see. You'll see there's a breakdown that we gave per province, how many applications did we receive, and then how many applications were they recommended. In Eastern Cape, we received 1, we recommend 1. In Free State, we received 4, we are recommending 2. Gauteng, we received 22, we are recommending 8. KZN, applications received 2, we are recommending 1. Limpopo, we unfortunately did not receive any application from Limpopo, North the Cape or Northwest. In the Western Cape, we received 4 and we are recommending 3. And yes, in Mpumalanga, we received 2, we are recommending 1. Certain applicants were excluded due to conflict of interest, or that they did not have any relevant qualifications, or they did not display in their CVs any experience in occupational health or functional impairment. The list of the recommended medical practitioners, the names accordingly, is in Gauteng, Dr. Gomo. As you'll see, it's a black female. She's 52 years of age. Her qualifications is specifically also that she has an additional diploma in occupational health. And then you also see there that she's got more than 26 years experience in occupational health. She also served previously as a ITSA Medical Tribunal member, but that was almost 6 years ago that she served. The next one is Dr. Kanyile. There you also see advanced diploma in occupational health. And then also she's got more than 36 years of experience in occupational health. Dr. Pue, 46 years old. There you also see a diploma in occupational health as well as HIV management. It's a qualified doctor and has extensive experience, 22 years, both in occupational health and HIV management, which is for also important. We've got Dr. Patuka, who also is a qualified doctor, registered with the HPCSA, and also have extensive work experience, more than 21 years. and previously also served as the ITSA Medical Tribunal member. It's just important to note there the asterisks for existing tribunal members that's situated within Gauteng also applied for and qualified for a second term of appointment for 3 years. The next one in Eastern Cape, we've got Dr. Nyelende, also additional qualification in occupational health, and also has experience of more than 19 years in occupational health. Western Cape, Dr. Nzana, also occupational health additional diploma, and has experience more of 25 years in occupational health. It's important to note that 2 existing tribunal members in Western Cape also applied for and qualified for a second term. Insofar as it relates to KZN, we've got Dr. Lugongolo, who is a registered psychiatrist, and it's got registered with the HPCS and have extensive experience, more than 22 years in mental health. In Free State, we've got Dr. Kumalu, who also have experience of more than 29 years in occupational health. And it's also important to note that in Free State, 1 existing tribunal member applied for and qualified for second term. In Mpumalanga, we've got Dr. Ngozo, who also have additional experience in occupational health, more than 16 years, and has additional qualifications in medicine, occupational health, as well as in HIV. Insofar as it relates to the legal practitioners, as indicated previously, we received 95 applications. 20 candidates were recommended in total, of which 8 are 8 reappointments. There you have a breakdown of the applications, the numbers received, as well as recommended. Just to indicate that no applications were received from Western Cape. The majority of the applications was received from Gauteng, and we just recommended 12 thereof. They've got instances where only 1 application was received. It was in Free State, Mpumalanga, and Northern Cape. And unfortunately, these applicants could not be recommended due to the lack of any experience in administrative of law. These are the tribunal members appointed, the legal practitioners. We've got Mrs. Lesu, who is a practicing attorney with more than 20 years experience in medical-related litigation and claims. She previously served as a legal tribunal member, and her adjudication standards was excellent. We've got Mr. Lessing, also extensive experience in medical and legal practice of administrative law, more than 32 years. He served on the tribunal during the period of the first period of adjudication, and his adjudication standards were also excellent. We have Mr. Mabuli. It's a practicing attorney with more than 20 years experience in administrative law, also previously served with excellent adjudication standards. We've got Mr. Mashiane, practicing attorney with more than 25 years experience, and then specifically also with experience in RAF, medical and administrative law experience. If we go further, we've got Mr. Munsami, who's a practicing attorney with more than 16 years experience in administrative law, as well as quasi-judicial experience, and serves as a vice chairperson of the board of the NPO. We also have Mr. Batu, who's a practicing attorney with 10 years experience on quasi-judicial and governance committees. He specializes in administrative and regulatory law and also serve on other tribunals. 6 existing tribunal members within Gauteng were applied for and also qualified for a second term. In Eastern Cape, we've got Mr. Nkele, who's a practicing attorney and also chairperson of the Municipality Disciplinary Board. He's got more than 27 years experience in administrative law and administrative justice litigation. In KZN, we've got 2 lawyers, Mr. Kuzwayo and Mr. Zulu. Both are practicing attorneys. The first one with more than 22 years experience in administrative law, and the second one with more than 14 years experience in the administrative of law, and also served as the special legal advisor to the Minister of Health. In Limpopo, we've got Mr. Nivondwe, who's a practicing attorney, and who served on various tribunals and appeal boards, and also have more than 17 years experience in administrative law. In Limpopo, we also have another tribunal member who's currently existing and who have applied for and qualified for a second term. In Northwest, we've got 2 tribunal members that we are recommending. Both are females, Mrs. Kara and Mrs. Pale. Both are practicing attorneys. The first one with more than 22 years experience in administrative law and also serves on tribunals and boards. And the second one that's in general practice, but with more than 19 years experience in municipal tribunals and also with a specific experience in administrative justice. In Mpumalanga, we received 1 application. Unfortunately, this person had very limited experience and no experience in medical or administrative law. In Free State, we received another application, and unfortunately, there was a conflict of interest. The person's currently working for the provincial legislature on a full-time basis. And in Northern Cape and Western Cape, we did not receive any new applications. Only 1 existing tribunal member in Eastern Cape who applied for and qualified for second term of appointment. Insofar as it relates to the technically skilled persons, we only need 3 technically skilled because of the fact that we're working with the electronic adjudication database process. And of the 23 applications, you'll see that 18 came from Gauteng and 2 from KZN and 3 from the Western Cape. Only 3 applicants qualified in terms of the qualifying criteria. So even though we received quite a number of applicants, a lot of those were from first-time graduates who did not have the 5 years experience as required in terms of the regulations, and also did not have any experience in relation to the Java skills that was required or the functional audit experience. So we only recommend 2 people in Gauteng, which is existing tribunal members, who are being recommended for reappointment, and then 1 member in Western Cape who are being recommended for reappointment. And there you'll see in Western Cape, it is a female. She's got 10 years related experience and has the knowledge and the ability to work with multiple databases. And the others are the existing tribunal members. So that is where we come to the recommendation for the Joint Committee, honourable members, to please request that you note the process that was undertaken by the Minister to appoint medical and legal practitioners and the technical skilled civil society candidates as members of the tribunal, and then also support the recommended candidates to be appointed by the Minister as members to consider social assistance related appeals. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank and appreciate the presentation from the Department of Social Development on the recommended list of suitable candidates to serve as new members of the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals. So, honorable members, we will now proceed in terms of the deliberations. So I will request members, if any, to indicate if they want to have a bite on this presentation. Honorable members.
I raise my hand. My name is Chilizumnyai.
Yes, honorable member, you can proceed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. We extend our deep appreciation and full support of the Honorable Minister Tolashe and the department for their outstanding work in the appointment of the members of the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeal. This process stands as a symbol of model of transparency, integrity, and constitutional commitment or constitutional democracy. And I think the process has been carefully planned, inclusive outreach, and rigorous selection. The Honorable Minister has fortified a vital mechanism for the administrative justice, one that will serve the people of South Africa with fairness, expertise, and commitment. We commend this exemplary process or exercise in accountable governance and welcome the recommended candidates with confidence. Honorable Chair, the Minister and the Department really has conducted a transparent, rigorous, inclusive process to uphold constitutional values, and they ensured professional competency and strengthening integrity and with respect to this appointment. With respect to commitment to constitutional legal mandate, we welcome the fact that the process was firmly rooted in Section 27 of the Constitution, which reads as follows: right to social security, and Section 33 with respect to right to justice, to just administrative action. These selections or this appointment, help in the establishment and the operation of the appointment of the tribunal to align with the Social Assistance Act of 2004 and Promotion of Administrative Justice Act. By doing that, is the adherent to legislative framework. We receive, I think, in public service in general, there's a lot of criticism, Honorable Chair, that usually the critics speaks about transparency and inclusive appointment. That has been addressed as outlined earlier. And usually the complainant and critics speaks about the fairness selection mechanism. And I'm sure a selection panel is very clear and was appointed to review applications against this qualifying criteria. And it has been reported here, Chairperson, that vetting was conducted through relevant profession bodies such as the HPCA, CA, and Law Society, guaranteeing the credibility and professionalism. And I think the clear disqualification criteria has been outlined by the presenter. Now, we are happy that it's going to cover this appeal tribunal. It will be based on all grant type, tailored to nature appeal, medical, legal, and technical. And we must also welcome the appointment of the IT qualifying person, other than the host of various qualifications, because the issue of data and technical work is critical in doing this work. I must emphasize, however, the independence and the impartiality that these tribunal members, not in full-time public service, reducing the risk, they're going to reduce the risk of bias, conflict of interest checks that you have done, were integral part of the selection process, which we welcome with much gratitude. We thank the Minister and the Department for such, and also the independent panel, who really worked hard to make sure that we come at this level. And I think this appointment was overdue. We thank the department for commitment and the minister. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Fanny, over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Let me take also this opportunity to greet all the honorable members, Deputy Minister, and honorable members from both houses. My chair is to second the adoption of the process that has been undergone. As Honorable Munyai have already alluded and managed to elaborate, fairly through the whole process that have undergone, a rigorous process that have undergone, and the process that have resulted to be above board. So clearly say that the minister in this instance have shown once again that through the collective leadership and also resilience whenever there are issues that are affecting are affecting our institutions, there are good men and women outside there who are there to ensure that the integrity of these institutions are protected, even when they identified the destructive interruptions from people who applied knowing that they were not supposed to apply. It showed that the process was not just one of those ticking the box, but it was a rigorous process, in the words of Honorable Nyan. So I wanted to say once again, we thank the minister and also the support in this process of ensuring that we do have, a credible tribunal that is going to be doing, necessarily the mandate of the Constitution as has been highlighted by Honorable Munyai, that nothing that is going to be taking place and no change taking is going to be taking place. Also in the appellate tribunal, you see that there is a generational mix in terms of the professionals, because especially question of women professionals, because this department must be seen active, must not just only be, but it must be actively involved in leading, in ensuring that it takes the question of demographics very serious, question of your race and so on. So I wanted to say, even I want to say, Chair, by these few words, I'm seconding also the adoption of the process, thanking the minister and the collective that is managed to finalize this process. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Feni. Honorable Sibande, your hand is up. You may proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. There is a noise at your back there.
It's not mine, it's Honorable Feni's. Honorable Feni, can you please mute?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Chairperson, also, I wanted to join my colleagues. Actually, Honorable Chiliji has summarized it correctly. I want to go back, because what is the key fundamental is to follow the Constitution, the guidelines, our guidelines. The key fundamental issue of the day is to follow the Constitution, the guidelines from the Constitution of our own. Like he indicated, quoted section 27 of the Constitution, which is correct. This process we support, I also support. It's a follow up to also Honorable Feni to support Honorable Munyai, because this process, it have all elements. They've considered gender parity, also transparency, inclusive, free and fair, impartiality. And then also there was a rigorous consultation in both medical and law society, of which I wanted to suggest to all of us that if it might happen that this matter is brought to the debate in the House, we mustn't see some miracles, because some people are changing while we agree in principle. And this process was open, and it addresses all the crises, all the things which we normally use to touch the issue of vacancies, filling vacancies, because all of us, including myself, were part of the people who are raising the issue of those vacancies. But this process also, it also intended to address the vacancies, which are very, very sensitive, like these ones. This is normal. This is normal. It's not a normal vacancies, but professional vacancies. So with that one, I wanted to support the minister to say, let it go. Thank you very much, because we were covered with a lot of the things. The summary was done by Mr. Chilis. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sibande. I see another hand, Honorable Du Plessis.
Thank you, Chair. Just two questions. But before I ask the questions, well done. It does seem to be quite a thorough process that the department went through to determine this. My question would be, there are individuals that had terms previously on, and how did they serve and how did the committee assess their service during this time? Just to ensure that it is, that quality has been looked into as well, quality of service. And I'd also like to find out, it is shifted from province to national, and what difference will this make in regards to the efficacy of the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Du Plessis. There's another hand, Honorable Marais. Over to you.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members and all the departments at here. I've listened to the discussion and I've seen the names and I've looked through the things that came through. It's just for us, we don't know who the people are. We don't know what process was followed. We don't know how they came to the conclusion. So for me, it's just, I see the names. These are the people that they say are the people that is going to be nominated. But for me, I don't know, because we were not part of the process. We don't know who the people are. And that is just my personal view. We are just agreeing to something that we don't know anything about. So that is my view, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Marais. Honorable Kobasa, Reverend Kobasa.
Thank you so much, Chair. Chair, maybe my comment will also be the same as the honorable member that just spoke, in terms of first time seeing the names. I think it would have been nice to maybe recommended before they shorten the names. But nevertheless, the situation on the ground in terms of beneficiaries not being able to qualify, and especially those beneficiaries that are sick, and the doctors that are there currently, they don't approve them, while the doctor that at the hospital, they've approved. They say go to SASSA, and because I can see you as a doctor in the hospital that you qualify. But when they get to SASSA, the doctor at SASSA says you don't qualify. So the biggest challenge that we are facing, or we are looking at as Umpondo is that the tribal that was there before, and this is a new one now with but old members also, will there be a different in terms of that? Because there are thousands of people that are really sick. Kunabantu abaningi abagulayo, Chair, njengamanje ekufanele ngabe bayahola, and abaholi kodwa tribal ibikhona, i-triple ibikhona before these recommendation names. Now iluphi ushintsho oluzokwenzeka ngalabo abasha mhlambe abangenayo njengamanje, if ever kuwukuthi abantu ababa thousands and thousands of people bakhona lapha ngaphandle bayagula njengamanje, badinga ukuthi bahole, and i-tribal ibikhona okusho ukuthi ibingaba approve kwayona. Labantu ngikhuluma ngabantu obabonayo wena ongadingi ngisho udokotela sihlalo ukuthi uthi lo muntu uyagula, wena self uyakwazi uyambona nje ukuthi lo muntu uyagula, akwazi ngisho ukuhamba, kodwa still kuthiwa lo muntu lo akangaholi. So iluphi uhlelo mhlawumbe ozofika nalaba abasha ngiyezwa futhi ukuthi uyasho ukuthi kukhona neset yalaba abadala abazongena la ngaphakathi yini ke ezokwenzeka njengamanje noma okuzoba ushintsho kulabantu laba bekungaba kuhle ukuthi amagama besiwazile before ukuthi okay naba abantu amagama ukuze sizokwazi ukukhuluma into ephilayo sihlalo mhlawumbe okunye sihlalo ebengakubuza yiloku kwama-province ukuthi ama-province uma kuwukuthi sithi e-KZN sithatha 1 noma 2 njengoba kushiwo kodwa ko-Gauteng sithatha 8 yiphi into mhlawumbe i-impact engenzeka ngalokho nanokuthi i-representation yalabantu abakhethwayo akufanele yini mhlawumbe ukuthi ama-cases amaningi aqhamuka ngalaphi noma aqhamuka kiphi i-province ukuze sikwazi ukuthi labo babe baningi kuleyo province uma kuwukuthi abantu baningi kuleyo province leyo. Ngiyabonga kakhulu sihlalo.
Thank you very much to the honorable members. I will now give over to the department for the responses to the questions indicated by the honorable members. I now give over to the department for the responses.
Thank you so much, Honourable Chairperson. Just to indicate that I will be assisted by my team in relation to some of the responses. Insofar as it related, thank you firstly for the support provided by the first 3 people in relation to the process. We really appreciate that, and I want to alert or reaffirm our commitment towards ensuring that we are impartial and also that we appoint the best people that we can in relation to the applications that we receive. Insofar as it relates to the question, those people that previously served on the tribunal, whether the assessment of their services, I think that's one thing that we made sure of is that we built in a quality assurance process. Each of the relevant directorates are headed by either legal or a medical qualified person that ensures that we do quality assurance of all decisions made, because we've got uniform norms and standards insofar as it relates to medical guidelines as well as legal guidelines. So we often do quality assurance almost of 90% of appeal cases where we can. And then we have quality assurance workshops where we give feedback to tribunal members, where we do joint case studies to ensure that everybody's standards is on the same level, because it's for us critical, because if we are litigated as the department, it's the minister that's litigated and it's the department's reputation at stake, but also it's in our best interest to ensure that people who qualifies actually should get the grant. So in that regard, you would see even that we did not recommend all the tribunal members that reapplied, simply because of the fact that some of the feedback that we got as the selection panel that was appointed by the minister was, but the adjudication service standards, even through after all the interventions, was not of the standards that we really would like to. And if we are taken on review, then we are sitting with a problem. So I can assure you, insofar as it relates to the efficiency of the assessment of their services and the quality of the adjudication processes, we are really comfortable with the fact that they are rendering excellent adjudication services. Insofar as it relates to Honourable Marie's question, the first one that was also requested, insofar as it relates to the efficiency of people coming from the provinces as well as the national from Gauteng, that has caused challenges in the past. However, we've overcome the majority of those challenges. So currently, we've got systems in place that will ensure that there's turnaround times, that these appeals needs to be adjudicated. We firstly ensure the availability beforehand. These appeals are couriered, and then ultimately we ensure that we get the feedback timelessly in order to ensure that timeless adjudication of the appeals. In that regard, we are also working on a electronic appeals process, which we will develop to ensure that irrespective of where people will be coming from, they will be able to not only lodge their applications electronically, but also that the adjudication services will ultimately be electronically as well. Insofar as it relates to Honourable Marie's and the Reverend's concern about the only seeing the names, we just need to indicate that the process, and I think that's why the regulations are so detailed, setting out precisely. Parliament went to big stakes to ensure that even when we drafted the regulations, that the qualifying criteria would have been fair and stipulated, that the application process as well as the selection process are stipulated to ensure that we appoint people that actually qualifies, that's got the necessary qualifications. I am assuming that it's not the role of the select committees and the portfolio committee, or that you don't have time to go through all 153 applications. It took the people that actually did the vetting quite a few weeks to go through, and then also the selection panel had to meet almost 2 or 3 times in order to go through all the candidates to ensure that we appoint those people that have the majority of experience and also the right qualifications. So in that regard, we honestly believe that the names put forward, we do not know these people. Those people, based on the CVs as well as the vetting that we went through with the relevant councils and the Law Society in relation to the experience and qualifications, those are the appropriate people that served before the minister and then before you as well. Insofar as it relates to the last question or remark of the Reverend, so far, I think Ms. Busi Matenjwa, our medical director that's responsible for the medical adjudication processes and also assisting the medical tribunal members, will be able to explain to you the medical guidelines that we're using and also to ensure that there's uniform norms and applications when they adjudicate these appeals that will come from in relation to SASSA's rejections. Lucy, over to you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I just want to indicate from what Reverend Wabaz was asking in relation to provincial candidates and Gauteng, to say that even though we receive fewer applications from other provinces, this is a national competency, which means that all files comes nationally. So if a panel member is a KZN, that's in short means that they will adjudicate the same file. We make sure that we circulate in different provinces. So it's a national competency, the adjudication. So all files come nationally and they get to be checked, as Advocate Brink has indicated, we courier the file. So even if we have fewer panel members in other provinces, it won't affect the adjudication of appeals in each province. It comes at the national level. And then in terms of the medical adjudication, we follow medical guidelines, which are used by both SASSA and social development. In terms of files where, like in terms of appellants, where we see that they are really sick, we have an opportunity to provide them with a TDG, which is a temporary grant. If the medical evidence is not sufficient, that gives them enough time to provide us with the medical evidence to support. And also, in addition, if we feel that this client, we will not wait for a TDG, we actually send them for second assessment so that we can make a final decision. We do that. And in terms of where maybe we're saying appellants do not know what's the process to follow if SASSA has not awarded them with grants, we have provincial coordinators that goes and do awareness in terms of the process that the appellants can follow if they did not get their grant. So we make sure that we have all that in place to make sure that they get assisted. So in terms of saying that maybe there are members that should be given grants and they are not given grants, those are the processes that are available for them, for us to assist so that they do get the grants. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the team for the responses. I think, according to me, the team have elaborate on each and every questions indicated by the members that have questions. Is there any questions from the members regarding the responses? Honorable Reverend, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, the answers that were provided, they are telling me that then you don't need this tribal because what is happening is that, as I'm saying, that there are people that are sick, and those people that are sick, there was this tribal authority before this one, and these people that are sick, they were given, you find that first grant or whatever, but when it cut off, they don't get anything, and they are continue being sick, and they don't get anything anymore. But they deserve it. We have seen it with our eyes when we are in SASSA offices with these people. We were in oversight. We saw those people with our eyes. They had that period where they were getting that grant, and after that, they don't get it. It was stopped. But they are still sick, those people. So I'm saying, what is this tribal will do now? This one, as it's coming in, because the one that came, the one that just came out or just finished out their term, it did not do justice to those people that were there. And I don't know in terms of the appeal on how with that work, because those people are still sick and they're not earning anything. In terms of provinces, in this recommended people, there are provinces that are without people that I don't want to say represented, but you want to tell me that according to the answer that I got, is that you look at the qualifications, you look at everything. You're saying to me that there are people on those provinces, there's no one that is qualified to be in this appeal. Listening to the answer that I got, you are telling me that there are people in that particular province. There are no people that are qualified and are able to be in the board. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I will now just the last bite from the department regarding the Honorable Member's clarity question.
Thank you so much, Honourable Member, and thank you for the question. I think it's important that we address the challenge that you raised. I think firstly, what Ms. Matendra wanted to explain is that sometimes persons only receive from SASSA a temporary disability grant. So if it's a temporary disability grant for 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, it means that that grant will stop at the end of that time. Now, what we receive, the majority of applications that we receive for appeal is in relation to applications where a person is saying, but I received a temporary disability grant, but I disagree, it needs to be a permanent grant. And that is where Ms. Matendra indicated that in instances where we can see that there's, based on the documentary evidence, there are evidence of a disability, but the time frame thereof or the extent thereof cannot be confirmed. We can either send the person for a second medical referral, or we can say to them, but listen, the information that you submitted was submitted way after your grant application at SASSA. Reapply with all these additional reports, and that might ensure that you get a permanent, and if not, please lodge an appeal. What we've also seen is, we must remember that SASSA recently, based on also the queries that they received from the Auditor General, they had to activate their review processes. So a lot of people were previously in receipt of permanent grants, but now they have to go through the review process, because it doesn't mean once you receive the permanent disability grant
it will be until the day that you die. Your medical conditions could have changed for the better. Your financial income could have changed. And some of these people no longer are unfortunately with us. And that's why SASSA had to go through the review process. And that's perhaps why you would have found those people within SASSA, because they have to go for their review in order for them to actually apply again. If they are then not happy, if they don't get the grant, then they are actually, and we've received some of those appeals where people following the review process are now lodging appeals because they were not granted a permanent again. That's the first question. Insofar as it is in the provincial representation, sir, it's not that there are no people with the required skills. The thing is that what we've seen is we can only appoint insofar as the number of applications that we receive. If we don't receive applications from specific provinces, and there was 3 or 4 provinces where nobody applied, we can't go beyond that, even though we are trying to go through the processes of putting it on our media platforms and also extending it to other organizations, the invitation, in order to invite more applications. And we've also seen that and our country is faced with people that we don't have sufficient medically skilled, qualified persons that actually are within these provinces. In Northwest, for instance, we've even seen that a lot of the SASSA assessors within Northwest actually come from Gauteng, simply because the people within Northwest are already either within the provincial government or they are within clinics. And remember, we try not to ensure that we send the appeals coming from a specific province to that province, because it might be that that person was the doctor that recommended the client. Now that person is appealing, and now the tribunal member is looking at the same person that he recommended, which would be a conflict of interest. So that's where Ms. Matenchwa indicated that if there's people coming from Northwest, those grant applications or appeal applications, we try to ensure that it gets adjudicated by a tribunal member that's not within that specific province, to ensure that there's no conflict of interest. So insofar as it relates to appointing more people, yes, we most definitely would welcome it. In 3 years' time, we're going to go through this whole process again, and we will even try to extend the scope further than the regulations require of us. But we've already seen the previous time we only received 95 applications. This time around, at least it was 154. But like you've seen, only 35 medical practitioners applied for them. And accordingly, from the 35, we actually appointed 16 in total, of which came from because we can't appoint ad infinitum members, because these members will then they are only adjudicating on an ad hoc basis. If we've got the number of appeals, then we ensure that there's a rotation, that everybody gets the same amount of appeals. Thank you so much. I hope that answered or assisted you in the answer of your question.
Thank you very much to the team. So, Honorable Msangu, co-chair, I see your hand is up, and then Honorable Mushwai.
Oh, thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. My question comes from the amount of knowledge and experience that comes with the members of the tribunal, especially those that even serve for multiple terms. What happens at the end of each term? Is there a report that comes out of the work that they are doing, which report might even help to say, although the regulations and the law says 1, 2, 3, but in the instances where we've seen things that have emerged in our work, for example, let me use the issue of permanent, temporary versus permanent disability, where doctors and, well, let me just say doctors would determine that this person, this kind of condition can never be can never be temporary. And this person needs to stay on a disability grant, because if it stops, it will cause a situation where they won't even have resources to buy their medication, and if they do get the medication from the public facilities, they will not have money to eat, because if you take medication, you have to eat. Because we've had a number of these happening where people say, the grant has to end first before you can reapply, which means there will always be a gap between the last month that you got a grant and the next month when you reapply and hopefully approved. So what in the work that the tribunal has done, is there as some kind of a report out of which the department can say, look, this has happened too many times, or this has actually disadvantaged the disability grant beneficiaries. So let us change the regulations, because the regulations are living documents as far as I'm concerned. They need to go according to what is happening in the lives of the people for whom these regulations are created in the first place. So I just would like to know if anything has happened where regulations are changed because of the advice from the members of the tribunal. Thank you so much, Co-Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Co-Chair. Honorable Mzwai, over to you.
Did you call me Honorable Chair?
Sorry for the pronunciation. Honorable Member, you may proceed.
It is saying Mr. Honorable Mazwai. I said, okay, Munyai. I'm saying that we must also thank the panel for accepting to serve the Republic of South Africa, though this is the process that we're advancing to support. So in my last contribution, Chair, is that there can be no process such as this one that doesn't address really meritocracy, geographical spread from Cape to Limpopo, Northwest Mpumalanga. And I think we were taken into confidence that those other provinces, they were represented because there were previous appointments that could not have been shown here today. Chair, it is my humble final submission that, most of the work will be done by the people who recommend that they be appointed. However, Honorable Chair, and I'm sure most of the critical questions will be addressed by the panelists, by the Independent Tribunal, to the beneficiaries or the people who would have really making these appeals in consistence with law. So for me, finally, Chair, I must thank the two co-chairs for facilitating this important meeting, and that we congratulate those panelists that we are recommending for appointment, that we have recommended for appointment today. I thank you, Chair, and I won't come back.
Thank you, Honorable Member, Honorable Marais, and then Honorable Makwele. And then we will close the discussions.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Chairperson, the concern that we are having is that, yes, we have the tribunal now. The complaints that we get as members of the social development portfolio is that the doctors that is working in these different provinces are not doing justice to our poor people. We will have people like the Chairperson was saying earlier on, is that you've been for a 12-month, like I met a lady in Douglas. She was for 12 months because she's having a heart disease. And then the new doctor came in, She said the doctor didn't look at her file. The doctor didn't do anything. And he just said, no, she can't get another 12 months. And this lady can't do anything for herself. If you look at the lady, you can see this lady is very sick. So we're having a crisis where doctors comes into the offices. They're overtired, they're overworked because they work in like Monday to Friday, or they work one day here in Bloemfontein, one day in Wepener, or wherever they are working. And then they don't really look at the people. They don't do anything to the people. They just say, no, you look fit, you are fine. So the tribunal will have to look at that thing where people are suffering for another 12 months before they can get a pension again. And some people that has been put off by an ordinary doctor cannot get a pension because these doctors are just saying no. The people are saying, the doctor come in there with a short pants, name Douglas, and they will say, oh, it's a old retired doctor. He doesn't even see us. So things like that, the tribunal will have to look in because our people are really suffering out there. With doctors that really say these people cannot do anything, but because that doctor thinks he's in charge, it's his money, he can just do as he please, and he can decide who goes for the pension and who doesn't go for the pension. And it's one of the problems that we're sitting with. And I hope the tribunal is going to look into this problem because we got a lot of complaints about people that are really, really need of a pension, especially disability pension, and the doctors are not coming to the party. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Marais. So, Honorable Makwele, over to you.
No, thanks very much, Chair, and greetings to your also co-chairperson, honorable members in the platform, and the officials from the Department of Social Development. Chair, in fact, I'm not going to be long, but I want to join those members who were adulating and even welcoming the effort by our Minister of Social Development and the team, especially with the stride that they've made in making sure that the issue of appointment of an independent tribunal panel is finalized, whereby we all know that throughout the honorable members, the department, they've been criticized. There've been a lot of criticism throughout about whereby there were a majority of people that were abusing the system. Even at some point, the official within the department, they were able to abuse the system. That its main purpose is to make sure that it brings relief to our own people, those that are vulnerable. But as we are welcoming the independent tribunal, as I've been indicating, Chair, is also to appreciate that this time around, all of us as members of the select as the committee, both in the NCOP and the NA, we must be seen supporting the effort, because the effort now, it will also make sure that those that deserve to get the grants will be getting the grants, because with the system that was abused throughout, Chair, it was evident that the majority of people that were supposed to be the beneficiary of that grant, they were not getting it because of those that at all time they were abusing the system. But lastly, Chair, as I conclude, I also want to join my colleague, the whip of the Select Committee on Social Development, Honorable Tsilizi Munyai, to say that, from the department and the team, you've got our divided support as both the Select Committee on the Social Development and the committee from the NCOP, to say we'll continuously supporting you, so that even the board, as they indicated, or even the panel, as is an independent tribunal panel, they are able to do their work without any fear or favor, and make sure that our people continue to get the social relief that they deserve. And thanks very much for affording the opportunity, Chair and the co-chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makwele. I will now give over to the department for their last response regarding the questions that was asked.
Thank you so much, Honourable Chairperson. The first question I will deal with a bit, but then I will also give it over to Ms. Busi Machenjo. that's actually responsible for the medical adjudication. Honorable Masango, you are so right in the sense that the experience that's built up as well as the skills is for us critical. Because as the department, we draft the medical guidelines and we ensure QA, quality assurance, as well as compliance. However, there's nothing better than existing member training or sitting together with a co-colleague that's a medical professional or a legal professional in order to do that type of peer review. So that's why you would have seen that we're trying to strike a balance between the number of new appointees as well as the existing members that has only served one term and then can actually reapply and be reappointed for the second one. Because we've seen in our quality assurance workshops, our training, where we do case studies, we then pull out those case studies where we've seen it was a difficult case study, and then it will be presented by one of the existing tribunal members and then giving over those skills. So that for us is important. We also request specifically when their term ends, if there's specific things that they as tribunal members would wish to see in terms of the changing of policy or legislation, that they give that through to us. Because even though the independent tribunal, I think it's important to understand that the independent tribunal, as such, the institution as well as the members are supposed to be independent from SASSA. So they don't have an oversight function over SASSA. They don't have a direct relationship with SASSA. However, because we are situated within the Department of Social Development, as the Chief Director of Social Assistance, we are under the branch Comprehensive Social Security. So what we then do is we take the feedback that we get from our tribunal members and take that through to our policy colleagues within social assistance. For instance, one of the things that was changed in 2022, the regulations, was insofar as it relates to care dependency grants. Previously, you could not, a care dependency grant is for a child that are disabled, but they are under the age of 18. So they won't qualify for a normal disability grant. Now, in that sense, previously, the requirement was that this person should have been permanently disabled. That means if you apply for 9, at the age of 9, that person, it should have confirmed that that person requires permanent assistance up until the age of 18. We've seen that that's a challenge in practice because sometimes a child will undergo chemotherapy, sorry for the Afrikaans word, chemo, and that child will, for instance, for 12 months period, require that additional support and not necessarily for the full 18 months. And that's where, based on the feedback that we got, we could give it through to our social assistance colleagues and ensure that that regulation is amended so that care dependency grants can now be provided for a temporary period as well. So we do that insofar as it relates to, even though, remember at the beginning, I indicated that the tribunal has quasi-judicial functions, so they can't make policy. They have to implement the legislation and work within the existing regulatory framework. Although that is the truth, we as officials within the department can give those things that we pick up by our tribunal members and the skills and the type of cases, we can pick it up and then give it through to our policy unit. And we recently, within this week that passed, we sat together with them when they were really looking at some of the regulations that we indicated that the changes insofar as the feedback that we received on appeals. Because the purpose is ultimately to ensure not only to adjudicate appeals timelessly, but to ensure that the people on the ground, that the regulatory framework is also amended based on the practical experience that we see with these gaps. And it's for that reason that Ms. Busi Matenjwa is also involved in the disability forums that's established by SASSA within the provinces. So what we do, we will see our medical, what the tribunal member indicated, Honorable Marie, insofar as it relates to the doctors at the clinics that do the medical assessments, as well as the SASSA appointed doctors. Sometimes you will see a repeat of a temporary disability grant. We require, for instance, that before in our pre-adjudication phase, that we also obtain the SOCPIN report, which will then indicate that this person has a history of repetitive TDGs. That then gets collected and also submitted to the tribunal member to ensure that they have access to that and can require even further medical history from either via SASSA or directly from the clinic to say, but listen, why in this instance has this person for the past 6 years got a 12-month TDG? Should we either refer the person for a second medical opinion and that we can give a permanent grant, or is there sufficient evidence to say, but listen, no, in this case, it should have been a permanent, so we're granting the permanent. So in that sense, the Busi is involved in the disability forums within the provinces, where she will then give these type of challenges that we see, that we get the feedback from our tribunal members. She will give that feedback back to the SASSA Disability Management Unit that then sits together with their medical assessors and the training thereof to also pick up on the lessons that we've seen from our side as the Chief Directorate on Appeals. Busi, I don't know whether there's anything else that you would like to add in relation to that specific question.
Thank you. I just want to repeat that during our quality assurance sessions, we get information for our tribunals where they are gaps. So in terms of, we are aware of the existing gaps, and that is why there's cross coordination between ESD and SASSA, particularly when they are training the doctors, to ensure that we address those issues. And I think that even SASSA has improved their systems in terms of assessment, where even the grant, we are expected to indicate when we are doing an appeal, whether we think there will be a need for that to be reviewed or not. So we are making those proclamations to say that, no, there's no need for this grant to be reviewed, so that applicants don't need to go back and apply for grants. So we are doing that. And also within terms of the forums, the disability forums that we are busy with, we are ensuring that we are engaging with SASSA, its social development, but also we want to include Department of Health to ensure that the baseline information, the comprehensive information that gives the whole picture about the appellant, so that a proper decision is made. So we also do that, because although a lot of people apply with chronic conditions, we know that chronic conditions are managed with medication, but we want to know the impairment that comes after the chronic condition that will impact like the employability of the person, and that is why we're looking at the eligibility of the grant. So we look into all these other things, and we also advise appellant to tap on other government grants, because it's not just this grant that is available. For issues of poverty alleviation, there are grants even within social development. So as an implementing office, we do submit inputs to policy within social development, and they will review the regulations. But we are very much involved in the review of medical guidelines to ensure that when we assess both at SASSA and social development, we are fairly assessing appellant, and we are awarding where members are qualified to be awarded. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson, from our side, we are done unless there's any additional questions.
No, thank you to the team from the department. From my side, I just want to say that as the department and as public representatives, we must make sure that we educate our communities that there is a appeal tribunal in place, and that they can appeal to this tribunal, as well as educate them about what is the process in terms of this appeal. So, honorable members, we have received the responses from the department, and we thank them for the responses. So, honorable members, we are now at the point on the agenda where we as chairpersons must give the report of our committees on the list of recommended candidates to serve on the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals. So, to my co-chair, I will give over to you to give the report from the Portfolio Committee, and then I will request you to then take over the chairmanship. Thank you very much. Co-chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, for that opportunity. And I just also want to join my co-chair in thanking the department for this presentation and also for fielding the comments and the questions that came from the honorable members, because obviously we want to be as certain as possible when we go out to our constituencies to explain what it is that was done today, which is why we even ask the pertinent questions on the issues that come from the members of the public in this regard. So thank you so much for the work that has been done and the presentation from the team of the department. It is highly and deeply appreciated. I would like now to just ask, am I asking Lindiwe or am I asking Yoli to take the honorable members of the Portfolio Committee through the report that has been done in this regard, so that we get to where we can then consider and adopt the report, please. Please go ahead, Lindiwe Oyoli. It's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will be the one that will be presenting the report for consideration and adoption. The report reads as follows. Can you see the report, members?
Yes, we can.
Thank you very much, Chair. This is the report out of the deliberations, just to confirm whether we agree with the names. Chair, there is an introduction in the report indicating that we have received the list of recommended candidates to serve on the board for social assistance appeals, which is today's. Having considered a referral by the Speaker of the National Assembly on the letter dated the 2nd of November from the Minister requesting Parliament to consult on the names for appointments. Chair, the Department of Social Development received a briefing, which is today, on the recommended candidates to serve on the Independent Tribunal for social assistance appeals. This is in accordance to Section 18 of the Social Assistance Act 2004 as amended, which states that I think the amendment we made in 2020, whereby the then Portfolio Committee proposed an amendment that the Minister must, after consultation with Parliament, appoint an independent tribunal comprised of appropriately qualified persons as may be prescribed to serve as members of the independent tribunal to consider appeals against decisions of the agency. Therefore, the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, having deliberated on and considered the subject of the list of recommended candidates to serve on the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals, report that it agrees to the recommended list of candidates to serve on the Independent Tribunal for Social Appeals, Assistance Appeals as follows. In terms of the legal practitioners, these are the recommended names. We have Leso JT, Lessing AT, Mamuli K, Mashiane FM, Monse P, Pato BS, Kuzwayo NZ, Zulu SN, Nivondo LT, Kara HB, Nkele TA, Pale NM. In terms of the requirement for medical practitioners, the following candidates have been recommended for appointment to serve in this board. Dr. Khomo KT, Dr. Kanyile ZT, Dr. Pue I, Dr. Pukuta NN, Dr. Nyilende LM, Dr. Kumalo MD, Dr. Lugongolo BTT, Dr. Ngozo ZG, Dr. Mzama Q. In terms of the technically skilled, we have only one person, Masters AF. This is the report for the committee to be considered. Thank you very much, Chair. Over to you.
Thank you, Lindiwe. Honorable members, this is the report for your consideration and adoption. I would like hence, please, to do this important work from the members of the Portfolio Committee. Honorable Monyai, is this an old hand or is this a new one?
No, it's the one that really moved for consideration of the report. For
Okay.
Yeah.
Chairperson.
Thank
Makgato.
you. Yes, Honorable Makgato.
Yes, I'm seconding.
Okay, I had the Honorable Reverend Kobaza as well. Honorable Kobaza, did you want to second or?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think the process for us, it has some gaps of transparency. Yes, so for us, there's no adoption of this report. Thank you.
When you say us, you mean Umkhonto Wesizwe?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Okay, with the I don't know whether to say with the rejection of the report by Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, the report has been duly adopted and seconded. So from the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, the adoption of the report on Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals has now been adopted. Thank you so much, honorable members. And I will hand over directly to my co-chair, the Honorable Finesse. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Honorable Co-Chair, Honorable Masango. I will request Marcial, the Secretary of the Select Committee, to present our report as the Select Committee. Thank you very much. Marcial, over to you.
Again, good morning, chairpersons, members and colleagues. Chairperson, the Select Committee on Social Services report reads as follows. The report of the Select Committee on Social Services, herein referred to as the committee, on the list of recommended candidates to serve on the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals, dated today, which is the 3rd of December. Chairperson, having considered the referral by the Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces of a letter and a list of recommended candidates to fill the vacancies in the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals in terms of the Social Assistance Act, the Select Committee reports as follows. The department had briefed the committee today on the 3rd of December about the recommended candidates for the Independent Tribunal of Social Assistance Appeals. It goes on further, Chair, to say that this is in accordance with the Section 18 of the Social Assistance Act. And then the Select Committee on Social Services, after considering the list of recommended candidates for the Independent Tribunal for Social Assistance Appeals, reports that it concurs with the candidate listed below. The legal practitioners, Chair, are listed in the report. It's Ms. Liso, Mr. Lessing, Mr. Mabuli, Mr. Ms. Mashiani, Ms. Munsami, Mr. Pato, Ms. Ngwazayo, Ms. Zulu, Mr. Navondwe, Ms. Kara, Mr. Tlele, and Ms. Fale. Medical practitioners include Dr. Komo, Dr. Kanile, Dr. Poo, Dr. Tuka, Dr. Nlede, Dr. Kumalo, Dr. Lungongolo, Dr. Ngozo, Dr. Mzana, and then civil society members, which are technically skilled, is a Miss A.F. Masters. Therefore, the recommended candidates for appointment as members of the tribunal are 12 legal practitioners, 9 medical practitioners, and 1 technically skilled member of civil society. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Marcial. I will request the honorable members of the Select Committee. Can I get a mover for the adoption of this report? Honorable Makwele and Honorable Feni.
No, thanks very much, Chairperson. Without much ado, I move to that we support the recommended list. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Makwele. Honorable Feni.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm seconding Chairperson for the move of the report, for the adoption of the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Feni. So this report is duly adopted by the honorable members of the Select Committee on Social Services. Co-Chair, I give back to you the chairmanship. Thank you very much for affording us the opportunity to adopt this report. Thank you very much, Co-Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, Co-Chair. I mean, we were afforded the opportunity by the upper house. So I should thank you for the opportunity. But thank you so much for that. I believe that the work that we met for this morning as the joint meeting of the portfolio committees has been achieved. And again, one wants to convey a word of gratitude to the Department of Social Development and to SASSA as the entity for the work that has been done. In fact, please convey our gratitudes to the Honorable Minister. I don't know if the Honorable Deputy Minister is still with us. So if he is, we thank you so much, Honorable Deputy Minister, for the work that has gone into bringing these names to the Portfolio Committee and the Select Committee. From now on, I would like to release the, I don't know whose link we used, but I would like to release the Select Committee because we have more work to do with the Portfolio Committee in terms of internal business. And there has been another item that has been included. So with all the thanks I can give you, colleagues from the NCOP, thank you so much, and you are released. And I would like the Portfolio Committee honorable members to please stay behind for the internal work. Thank you so much, Co-Chair.
Thank you very much, Co-Chair, and thank you for the releasing us. Thank you very much to the honorable members and the staff.
Thank you.
Hi, Chair, and the department, must they still remain?
Yes. Well, I was advised by the Secretariat that an internal business is not a closed meeting, but it's literally just administrative work that we need to do as the Portfolio Committee. So anyone else can be released unless they want to listen to us approving minutes of meetings. That's it, because that's what we are going to be doing from now on. So the department can continue with the good work that they are doing, and we will see them at the next available meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I take it that the Select Committee has left us to continue with the work that they are doing at the NCOP. And honorable members, thank you for your time as we now do our internal business. And the first item of that internal business will be the consideration and adoption of a committee report on an oversight to the province of KwaZulu-Natal. But before I ask Yoli to present that report, I would like to say to the honorable members and to ask your indulgence, please. The support would like to present to us a report, or let me say a document on the issue of the study tour. So if you could just please allow them or allow us to present that document at the end of the items that we have for today. So that will be just before we disperse the meeting. If you could please allow that presentation to take place. Although the reason why I'm raising this now is because it was not part of the agenda that was adopted. So I'm asking you to amend the agenda with that one item. And if you are okay with that, then we can go ahead and present and consider and adopt the report of the oversight to KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable Munyai?
I'm raising that the matter be deferred to next year. I'm joking. I move for that job adoption that we must proceed to receive the report of the oversight from KZN. Thank you.
And so you are adopting the amended agenda?
Exactly.
Oh, thank you.
Requested. That's what you requested. Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I have a seconder of this, please? Would anyone like to second this part of the agenda, the amended agenda?
Yes, Chairperson, Honorable Mcheni, I second.
Thanks, Honorable Bishop, for seconding. Please go ahead, Ioli, with the report. Thank you for that, honorable members. Let's go ahead with the report of the oversight to KwaZulu-Natal. Over to you, Ioli.
Thank you, Chairperson. It's still a morning, right? Yes, it is. Good morning to you. Good morning to honorable members and to my colleagues. Chairperson, what I've done as our common standard or practice, I've just prepared a few pages from the actual report. I extracted some pages from the report, which I've just summarized the key issues and the key findings, not the key findings and the recommendations. Otherwise, the report is not that long. It's 29 pages long, but I just don't want to be scrolling up and down because sometimes it can cause a discomfort in the eye. So if I can be allowed, Chair, I'm just going to zoom in into the key findings and the key recommendations that we drafted. Is that in order, Chair?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you so much.
Okay, Chairperson, just as a background, but mainly to remind the committee that Parliament adopted and is implementing this oversight priority plan. And this is the plan that identified 7 thematic areas that our oversight should focus on. But for now, out of the 7, the focus is on infrastructure, which also includes the ICT, which then in our case, we know with SASSA that the focus is on about digitizing the business processes of SASSA. So our oversight visit to KZN mainly focus on that in terms of implementing this OPP. And also just to say, Chair, that we also visited NDA and also its projects. Also, this is alignment with the strategic plan of Parliament, because there it has been pointed out, or is a focus for the committees also. It says that the focus of the oversight of the committees also should also include the entities, because the common practice is that we, as committees, we mainly focus on the departments and less on the entities. And also there is now the priority area of the MTTP, which about advancing inclusive growth and job creation, which now the NDA also has the role to play in terms of its mandate, in terms of the government achieving this priority. Then these are the objectives why we visited KZN, to meet with SESA regional offices, to receive overall presentation on its work in the province. Similarly, a similar presentation from the NDA, and also to do a walkabout or to visit the SASA offices as well as the NDA projects or the beneficiaries. We also had something unique with this oversight that I think we've only done it. It's not unique per se. We've done this kind of a model with this of engaging beneficiaries with our previous oversight visit in the previous committee when we went to Eastern Cape. But now it was more formalized than it was with the previous oversight visit. So we had engagements with the stakeholders, in this instance, the social grant beneficiaries, which I think I found it very useful, because we got to hear first-hand experiences of the beneficiaries in terms of the impact of the conditions from National Treasury, but also the overall experiences that our beneficiaries face with regard to SASA services at local offices. So we had that engagement with the beneficiaries in Emandeni. Chair, I think from what I can say, but members, the detail is in the report really. If maybe I didn't cover something, but I just rest assured that it is covered in the report. Apologies. Just as the key findings, Chair, from our engagement with SASA, safe to say that the offices that we visited, those offices had the national infrastructure, IT infrastructure that is needed to implement the income and registration verification. And we were taken through all the 10 different workstations that have different systems that SASA is utilizing in its processing of the applications. And those processes or systems are listed here in their names, that we were able to see how the verification and registration is done. So in terms of the infrastructure, that was demonstrated to the portfolio committee members. Then also we even went to one office where a kiosk was also demonstrated to us how members can assist themselves if they don't want to sit in the queue in terms of whatever they're visiting the office for. And also that SASA has 82 operational local offices, and those offices has been installed with Wi-Fi, and the kiosk I just mentioned now, that they have a bandwidth has been enhanced in 7 local offices to increase the speed of application process. A total of 55 local offices have queue management system infrastructure for efficiency, 38 fully implemented and operational, 7 to be operational by the end of the 3rd quarter of this current year. And there's a total 27 outstanding local offices that will implement the queue management system in the 4th quarter of this year. That all local offices, they use the SOCPEN and beneficiary records management system to capture files after they've been loaded. And these files are scanned into the system. We also were taken through that process, that members had to see how the scanning process is done. And then the beneficiary records management system then enables local offices to manage and track movement of physical beneficiary files. The local offices frequently experience network challenges, connectivity and system downtime, affecting key platforms such as the employee portal, AppWorks, and BBE, which beneficiary, what is this now up there? Beneficiary biometric enrollment. So because of those connectivity issues, these systems are sometimes affected by the network challenges. And when any of these systems are unavailable, staff are unable to complete applications for social grants, which further then exacerbate delays in the finalization of the applications and can cause undue hardships. And that was reported to this committee. Also, that SASSA does not own any office buildings. The offices are rented through the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, municipalities, Tusong centers, and shares offices with other government departments such as Social Development, Justice and Constitutional Development. SASSA office shares 42 offices with the Department of Social Development and 3 offices with Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. That there are delays by National Department of Public Works and Infrastructure in procuring office accommodation. There are 10 local offices that are operating from park homes. These are in Harding, Ikopo, Hlanganani, Camperdown, Lamontville, Wentworth, Melmoth, Vryheid, Utrecht, and Granskop. Chair, I think these last 2 bullets, I think they really speak to the oversight prior to plan of Parliament, and they really need the committee to focus on that, because that's what now we are mandated by the OPP, that the committee should look at issues of infrastructure. So maybe my advice will be, I just saw now that next year, February, we have another allocated time for the oversight. So that should be a focus area that we carry over in our oversight, even to other provinces, just to assess the state of infrastructure. And we just see from KZN that it's extending beyond just the ICT. It also goes to even actual building infrastructure. So we are just outlining this, that it actually puts a spotlight and more relevance of our committee in the implementation of this OPP. Then with regards to the NDA, these are the areas that we observed, or the key findings, that to implement the NDA turnaround strategy that focuses on refocuses the NDA funding model to extend to the community-owned enterprises, COEs in short. The NDA Regional Office is funding and supporting 6 of these SOEs in 6 districts, in Umgungundlovu, Umzinyathi, Amajuba, Umkhanyakude, King Cetshwayo, and Zululand. The CSOs are involved in bakery, agriculture, textile, crop production, poultry, and beadwork. So we see that there is, to a certain extent, the implementation now of the newly NDA turnaround strategy, implemented NDA turnaround strategy, that the NDA office is operating with an insufficient staff complement, resulting in a shortage of personnel across districts. In some cases, a single staff member is responsible for serving an entire district, which places significant strain on operations, and it limits the NDA's or agencies' ability to effectively implement and monitor projects at community level. I think as part of explanation, what's her name now? I remember her as Yolisa because I'm also Yolisa. I forgot now her surname. Who made the presentation, she made an example of one district where you have to, when you travel to that district, you actually have to go through Mpumalanga to access this other district, but it still falls within the KZN. But in terms of boundaries, you have to go through Mpumalanga, and there's always issues of connectivity and challenges of such nature. And it's only one person who has now to do all that kind of work because of the shortage of personnel to do all this work. And I know it was one issue that the committee raised, that there should be more visibility of the NDA and more support at the community level. But because of the staff capacity, the NDA is very limited when it comes to that. Then the other issue was that with the limited budget allocation, it becomes difficult for the NDA to partner with government departments because they argue that the NDA budget is minimal for the kind of project it envisages. The district development model partners are often unwilling to partner financially if there's no financial commitment from the NDA. And just explain that the NDA has a total budget of about 200 million and 70% of it goes for salaries with 167 officials, which the committee has raised this as a concern, and and even the AG also made a finding on this. The limited funding has hindered the NDA from massifying its projects. Ideally, the NDA should have district offices just as SASSA does. The NDA funding is ring-fenced by National Treasury in its budget allocation to the DSD. There has been an attempt to change this, but to no avail. The NDA was initially directly funded by the National Treasury as a national candidate for poverty alleviation. It was then moved to DSD when it started receiving donor funding. National Treasury, therefore, is still of the view that the NDA should mobilize funding from donor funding. The recommendations, Chair, that we managed to draft as a support team are as follows. With regard to SASSA, the Minister should ensure that an interministerial collaboration is established between the Department of Social Development, SASSA, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, to address the infrastructure challenges at SASSA, including occupational health and safety issues. It is worrying that since SASSA's establishment in 2026, there are still local offices that operate from park homes.
Sorry, it's 2006.
Sorry, Chair?
It's 2000.
What did I say? Chair?
You said 2026.
Oh, 2006. Yes, for record purposes. Thank you, Chair. The SASSA was established in 2006. There are still local offices that operate from park homes. The Minister should ensure that the department develop legislative or policy mechanisms that will enable SASSA to build its own offices if it manages to secure vacant land. The Minister should also ensure that SASSA explores ways to integrate its 10-step verification system to improve efficiency and eliminate the challenge of downtown, which affects service delivery. The Minister should ensure that SASSA within the 2025-2026 financial year finalizes the alternative payment access solution that aims to redress the impact of the closure of pay ponds, particularly in rural areas. The year, Chairperson, was put here deliberately because it is part of the APP for this current financial year.
Okay.
Yes, the Minister should ensure that SASSA conducts quarterly community feedback sessions to assess service quality and beneficiary satisfaction, as well as awareness campaigns on available grants and their eligibility criteria. I think this issue was also raised in this discussion that we had this morning in terms of people qualifying for the disability grant, particularly that one. Okay, the Minister should ensure that SASSA within the 2025-2026 financial year expedites the rollout of the queue management system to all remaining offices to reduce waiting times and improve service efficiency. The Minister should ensure that SASSA applies norms and standards for the suspension of payments after death uniformly applied to all social grant beneficiaries. I think I need to rephrase this one, Chair. Just for time, I'm just going to highlight it here. I don't know, maybe I'm reading it wrong, which is right. The Minister should ensure that SASSA forges formal collaborations with the Department of Health and Health to ensure early registration of newborns so that those eligible for children's grants can be enrolled. With the National Development Agency, the Minister should ensure that the NDA is stabilized through the filling of critical posts at the CEO, CFO, and other senior positions, implementation of the turnaround strategy, and finalization of the reviewed organizational structure. These are critical to ensure that the NDA operates on a funding model that is aligned to its legislative mandate and human resource constraints are addressed. The Minister should also ensure that at the interministerial level, between DSD, NDA, and National Treasury, the budget allocation of NDA is addressed. It is concerning that the NDA continues to be underfunded despite its critical legislative mandate. The Minister of Social Development should ensure that the NDA expedites the appointment of the NDA board before December 2025, when the term of the current board expires. Failure to do so may lead to the lapse of governance as it did during the sixth administration. The Minister should ensure that the NDA targets poverty-stricken communities, especially those with high levels of child malnutrition, using a similar approach applied in supporting GBV survivors and widows. The Minister should ensure that the NDA strengthens capacity-building programs for both primary and secondary cooperative to ensure compliance with governance, financial management, and reporting standards. Then the last one, the Minister should ensure that the NDA prioritizes, I think this is a repetition, Chair, it's already covered in this point above. Okay, Chair, this is what we managed to draft between Sislindiwe and I in terms of the recommendations, Chair, and based on the above key findings of their oversight visit. I can take inputs then, Chairperson.
Thank you, Yoli, for that. You will obviously review that one bullet point that you couldn't read for meaning. That is a joke. And then, but I would like the members to please interact with this presentation. From my side, it sounds and feels like it has captured the essence of the deliberations that we had with SASSA and NDA quite succinctly, but I will hear from my colleagues what their take is. Over to you, honorable members of the committee. I will look out for hands so that we can then deal with the comments and questions. Honorable members. Honorable Rev, over to you.
Chair, honorable members and support staff, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the report. I think the report is able to take me through as I was in KZN in the oversight. I think also maybe what we can add, I don't know if it is edible, but while we were there were people that were crying and they were not approved in terms of getting their grants, and they were crying there, and it was because of the doctor again that was there. But those people, one saw them with his own eyes, and those people were not fit to go to work. Those people were sick, and they were crying. They were there. I'm not too sure if ever it should be added to the report, but I think it is paramount to have it as people, so that even somebody when is listening who is from Mandeni, their case will be mentioned. Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you so much, Yoli.
Thank you, Honorable Rev, for that. And I don't see any other hand, in which case...
Chairperson.
Sorry, Honorable Makgato, I didn't see your hand. Please go ahead.
Yes, according to me, I think the researcher tried by all means to include everything that was there on that day. So now I just want to appreciate as our official has done the work properly. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Makgato. I couldn't agree with you more. Yoli, are you able to respond to the recommendation from the Honorable Rev?
Yes, Chair. There's not the issue. We can add that one because it is a finding. But and maybe my memory is failing me. Can Reverend just explain to me, was it when we had the stakeholder engagement or when the member was doing a walkabout at the local office so that I know where to put it?
Over to you, Honorable Rev.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. When we were at the offices, when we were doing the walkabout at the offices. Thank you so much.
The one at Mandeni or the other one where we had a
The one at Mandeni. The one at
Mandeni.
Mandeni.
I'll do that,
Yes.
sir, no problem. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, honorable members, this report is before us. There will be that edition of what was really, what really happened. And we were all there and to witness that. So it's not addition of something that didn't happen during the oversight. I would therefore like to request with those with that, I wouldn't say amendment as much as it is an addition. I would like honorable members to please adopt this report. Any member at all.
Chair, I move adoption.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ramaila. Anyone to second Honorable Ramaila on this in this regard?
Chairperson, Honorable Mtsweni, I second it.
Okay, awesome. So thank you so much, Honorable Mtsweni. That then says to us that this report is being duly adopted as a true reflection of what happened when we were on the oversight in KwaZulu-Natal, where we visited the offices and we also met with the beneficiaries in KwaZulu-Natal, and we visited the NDA, and we also went to one of the projects. Thank you so much, honorable members, for that. And so what we are going to be doing now is considering and adopting a committee report on a petition by the Western Cape elderly citizens. Please go ahead, Yoli.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will be the one that will present this report.
Apology.
Yeah, it's just a short report, Chair. It's a 4-page report, and Yolo will assist when necessary in terms of content if I omitted anything, if there are any questions that I'm unable to respond to. Chair, as a procedure, when a petition is referred by the National Assembly Speaker for consideration on report, we are obligated to report back to the House so that there can be a debate and then a communication to respective stakeholders where we have made arrangement, recommendation to. Chair, this is the heading is a draft report of the PC on a petition from the Western Cape citizen, from the Western Cape citizens on a petition for Parliament to consider their grievances towards SASSA to assist them with the payment on their SASSA grants and related matters, which is today's date where this report will be adopted and considered. Chair, the Speaker made a referral on the 12th of September, and then on the 5th of November, the committee invited the petitioner and also the SASSA and department to respond to the issues raised in the petition. In terms of the legal framework, the Constitution of South Africa, the Republic of South Africa, Section 56D and Section 69D provides for petition to be brought to Parliament. It provides for the National Assembly and the NCOP to receive petitions, representations, or submissions from any interested person or institution. Also, Chair, Chapter 19 of the Rules of the NA, which is our 9th edition, the latest edition, Rule 337D, makes provision for the Speaker to table written instruments, including special petition and other petitions of a general nature. Chair, this is just the number 2, which is the position, just will give an overview of issues that were raised by Mr. Van Wyk, the petitioner, who also informed the committee that there was an engagement as a result of a march of elderly people which took place on the 26th of August. And their aim was to highlight ongoing hardships experienced by elderly social grant beneficiaries and to request intervention, urgent intervention. Was that background given, Chair, and I assume members just read through the report, and I just wanted to just give a synopsis before I can go to the findings and recommendation. Just 1 or 2 sentences from a presentation from DSD and the South African Social Security Agency. They responded to the petition. Also, Chair, the CEO, Mr. Matlow, presented the responses to concern raised by the elderly and on behalf of DSD and SASSA. He stated that it was important to emphasize that social grant amounts are set on legislative and policy framework, fiscal sustainability, and are done in consultation with the National Treasury and other ministries. Actual valuation and economic projections support the decision. So that's the explanation, that they cannot just come up with a figure. There are certain consultation and other stakeholders that are involved to determine the amount of grants. Chair, I'll just chip in to take the committee through to the deliberations and findings on the 2 presentations. The committee emphasized the need to avoid politicizing the petition, noting that the concern raised by older persons should be addressed objectively and within the mandate of the committee. The committee also noted persistent service delivery challenges at SASSA offices, including long queues, slow processes, and negative staff attitudes, which continue to affect beneficiaries' dignity and access to services. Also, Chair, the committee highlighted the need for an ombudsman mechanism to provide an independent avenue for beneficiaries to lodge and resolve complaints effectively. The committee raised concern about the outdated information on the SASSA website, particularly regarding means test and other eligibility criteria, which contributes the confusion amongst beneficiaries. The committee also stressed the importance of municipal rebates for pensioners, including on electricity, water, sanitation, and property rates, to alleviate financial pressure on older persons. Another finding, Chair, was that the committee expressed the concern that grant increases have not kept pace with the rising cost of living, especially food inflation, leaving many older persons unable to meet their basic needs because of these imbalances. Chair, the committee underscored the importance of compassion and cultural sensitivity amongst frontline staff, noting that respectful treatment of beneficiaries is essential for maintaining trust in the social protection system. The committee, after deliberating on the contents of the 2 presentations from the petitioner and from DSD SASSA, they made the following recommendations. The first recommendation for DSD is that the Minister of Social Development should engage with the Minister of Finance to engage on urgent review the older person's grant value in line with inflation and rising food costs. The minister should ensure that the department accelerates work of the basic income grant to improve household income stability. Thirdly, the minister should hold engagements with the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Treasury Affairs, COGTA, to ensure that municipalities implement or expand rebates for pensioners on essential municipal services, including electricity, water, sanitation, and property rates to ease the financial burden on older persons. Lastly, on DSD, the minister should ensure that the department develops and implements supplementary relief programs for older persons who supported unemployed family members, given the financial pressures on multi-generational households. The following recommendations were made to the South African Social Security Agency. The first recommendation was that the minister should ensure that SASSA updates website with correct information on means test threshold and grants amounts for 2025-2026 financial year. In addition, it should update all subsidiary portals with the latest booklet information. The minister should ensure that SASSA fully implements the ongoing customer care and cultural sensitivity training to all frontline staff and security personnel to improve beneficiary experience and promote respectful and dignified service delivery. There were resolutions made, Chair, that SASSA must provide monthly progress report on long queues, kiosk performance, and communication strategies. Also, Chair, the Independent Appeals Tribunal should accelerate appeals processing and report quarterly to the committee. The resolutions, Chair, can be part of the committee program, maybe for the next time, to ensure that we also implement the resolution of the committee. Committee chairperson and members of the committee, this is a draft report on the petition for your consideration and adoption. I thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Thanks, Lindiwe. Honorable members, here is the report on the petition that we then received from the speaker, and we convened the meeting with the department and SASSA. I am looking for adoption of this report. Honorable Marais.
Thank you, Chairperson. I want to adopt this report, Chairperson. I just want to bring it to your attention. Last week on Tuesday, I went to Parliament very early because I had to go fix my computer. And then there was a march of an NPO where there was only children and teenagers at that march, also because of funding that was taken away. I think you're going to get a petition somehow, somewhere, but I accept this proposal, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Marais. And I think you did mention the march that you witnessed at the gates of Parliament. We shall wait for that. Any seconder of this report? Honorable Peters.
I second the report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Peters. Honorable members, we then have the report of the petition from the Western Cape senior citizens duly adopted this morning. We are now going to the consideration and adoption of minutes of the 5th and the 12th of November 2025. Please go ahead, Lindiwe.
Thank you very much once again, Chairperson. I'll quickly... Chair, this is the 5th of November, where we've received the petition and also the response from DSD and SASSA. And in that meeting, Chair, the content advisor presented a proposed international study tour for a decision. And Chair, we've also invited the senior legal advisor, Advocate Jenkins, to take the committee through to his advice, and also adopted a set of minutes. members that were present in that meeting: Member Mahato, Member Munyai, Member Ramaila, Member Nhlong. We have you, Chairperson Masango. We have Member Abrahams. We have Reverend Kwabaza. We have Member Mtsweni. We have Member Mare. We have Member Tafeni. And then there was one apology from Member Peters. Chair, the Deputy Minister was in present with the DG, and your full support team was present, Chair. And then you've welcomed everyone present. Chair, we've only received an apology from Member Tolashe, who was unable to attend the meeting, and Member Peters could not attend due to prior commitments. Chair, we've also adopted the agenda, and then in the agenda there was a proposal from Member Abrahams to invite Advocate Jenkins to present his legal opinion, and then the agenda was adopted with amendments. Chair, there were no minutes scheduled for adoption and consideration in that meeting. Chair, the coordinating advisor gave her paper regarding the countries to visit. Namibia was one of the countries, and Germany and also Indiana. But the committee took a decision that the state of Indiana was proposed as the best state to visit because it was the first state to implement the law, although baby savers are practiced in various other countries. They are actually not regulated. So we've got that proposal on our bag. Chair, also the legal advisor was invited, but he was available within the short space of time. He spoke to the issues, amongst others, the issue of the 3 million as to how committee can exercise oversight to ensure accountability around that. And also, Chair, the issue of the appointment of an unqualified staff in the ministry, and he gave some options that the committee can also liaise with. The minister can, the DSD minister can liaise with the minister in the women for a progress made in that respect. Chair, there was also issue of the removal of the NDA board. Chairperson with Ms. Bengu, the department can be requested to provide correspondence from the NTA to the Minister of Social Development on the reasons of the removal, etc. Chair. I'll just go to the overview of the department by Minister. Chair, I think everyone read it, Chair. He also aligned himself with the proposal, the petition, and he made an undertaking that he will ensure as a Deputy Minister that the introduction of basic income grant do happen as a department. Chair, there was a presentation. The presentation, Chair, from the department as well as a petitioner is contained in the report we just adopted. So I see it not necessary to also go through that because we've just read the report, Chair. Also, Chair, I'll go to the deliberations. The deliberations were contained in the report. Chair, there were just few recommendations made. Resolution is that the committee on the petition should be referred to the Appropriation and Finance Committee for further consideration. Chair, also SASSA should consider establishing the ombudsman mechanism for SASSA complaints. And also the department, the committee should forward a correspondence to the minister requesting an explanation for the CDA's failure to submit its annual report by the 30th of September 2025 deadline. It's safe to say, Chair, at last CDA has tabled their annual report for 2024-2025 financial year. I'll just distribute to members. Chair, also in that meeting, the committee took a decision to conduct a study tour to the United States of America in Indiana. And also, Chair, in that meeting, we also adopted a statutory meeting committee report on the public participation program, which needs to be submitted by 26th of November. Thank you very much, Chair. This is the set of minutes for adoption. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindiwe, for that set of minutes. I see the Honorable Peters has good news for us. Over to you, Honorable Peters.
My apologies, Chair. I just wanted to note that I did attend the meeting, but I had to leave earlier to catch a flight. Thank you.
Okay, all right. That's not bad news at all. Thank you for that, Lindiwe. Please note
Okay.
that attendance.
I will. Chair.
Honorable members,
Sorry.
the minutes are before us for adoption, please. Any member at all. Any of the 11 of us, honorable members.
Chairperson, I adopt the minutes.
Minutes. Thanks, Member Khatso.
Seconded.
Thank you, Honorable Ndade Ramaela. Thank you so much, honorable members. That set of minutes has been duly adopted. Thank you to our support for all this work. Now, before we still have a set of minutes of the 12th of November. Go ahead, Lindiwe.
Very much. It's just, I don't think it's a long minutes. That was the 12th of November. It was a virtual meeting. The following members were in attendance: Member Mahato, Member Munyai, Member Ramaila, Member Nthong, the chairperson of the committee, Member Masango. We have Member Abrahams, and then we have Reverend Twabaza, Member Mtweni, Member Mare, Member Tafin, Member Peters. Everyone was present in this meeting, Chair. And then we also have members from the PC on Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, led by their chairperson, Member Van der Merwe, there was Member Kanyile, there was Member Chauka Adonis, Chair, and then the minister was present, and then with the DG as well, Chair, and your support team was here also. There were also members from SASA, Chair. You've already welcomed us, and you also extended a warm welcome to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Women, as well as the members who also in attendance with her. Also, Chair, there were no apologies. Chair, the chairperson also tabled an agenda. No, there was apology from the minister who was unable to attend due to the cabinet meeting scheduled the same day. And also, Chair, in terms of the agenda, adoption of the agenda, Member Mahato moved for adoption, and her motion was seconded by Member Nhlong. Chair, in this meeting, we adopted the set minutes for 22nd of October and 29th of October. The Deputy Minister gave an overview, and Chair, we also went in to get a presentation from the department on its mandate and response to the issues emanating from the public participation relating to the statutory rape. Chair, it was just a presentation whereby the statistics were given and the role of the department in terms of fighting the scourge. Chair, the committee were deliberated, and then in the committee report that was adopted while we're in the CDA summit, the deliberations were contained in that report. No, it was a week before. I think the 19th of November, we adopted the report before the 26th. Chair, the resolutions, two resolutions that were made, is that the department should submit a written report on training interventions done in collaboration with other departments, such as Department of Health and Department of Basic Education. And also, it should also submit a breakdown on NGO funded over the last 5 years, and also share a breakdown on the number of social workers trained and unemployed. Those were the two resolutions made.
Have we just lost Lindiwe?
Hi, Chair.
Oh, okay. So you were just so quick. I thought you stopped mid-sentence there. Thank you for that. No problem. Thank you for that, Lindiwe. Honorable members, that is the set of minutes that need our adoption for the 12th of November. Please go ahead and adopt, honorable members. Honorable members of this portfolio committee, please adopt the minutes of the 12th of November.
Chairperson, Honorable Mtweni, I move for adoption.
Thank you, Honorable Bishop, for that. Anyone to second the Honorable Bishop for the adoption of the minutes of the 12th of November?
I do second, Chair, Mr. Munyai.
Are you Mr. Mnyai? Thank you so much, Mr. Mnyai, for seconding.
Honorable Munyai.
Oh, Honorable Mnyai. Thank you for seconding the adoption of the minutes of the 12th, Honorable Mnyai. So we are done with that. Thank you so much, honorable members, for your indulgence. Now we go to the item that was added onto our agenda today, which is a document that is going to be presented. I think I will allow Yoli to give the background to the edition of this report today. Go ahead, Yoli.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, when the resolution was made by this committee to conduct a study, two areas were identified. One was related to child protection, which is the baby savers. The other one was on substance abuse. And then we did as it was presented in minutes, consider the resolution of the child protection in terms of the baby savers to USA. But then, Chairperson, because of the events that unfolded after we made our resolution, mainly because of geopolitical tensions and relations between South Africa and the US, a concern was raised that should we still go ahead with our study to the US, and some members strongly felt that maybe we need to reconsider that. And because then, Chair, we had already identified substance abuse as another area that we can focus our study on. And then did some work quickly because we were there last week in terms of the substance abuse, and also, Chair, having us attended the biennial of the CDA, and we were really privy to get information, on this issue of substance abuse and the concerns thereof, but mainly the rise and the impact of drugs and substance abuse in the country, and also even the Premier of Gauteng, he actually made a submission that he even made a submission and a commitment that he would write to the president to request that substance and drug abuse be also declared a national crisis or a disaster. So it is then an area that needs the committee's attention. And linking that, Chair, if that happens, let's just say the president maybe does that, or even if he doesn't, the sheer situation of substance abuse in the country, it has escalated to the levels that this committee needs to take this issue very seriously. Now, a tie-in with that is the concern that this committee has over the last 3 terms of this committee has been an issue with regard to the status of the CDA, and that of having very limited power, and that the famous phrase that is used, that it doesn't have teeth to carry its very important mandate. And I think also that at least with the commission I was sitting on, it focused on exactly that, the framework, legislative framework of the CDA, and the fact that it is operating within the department, and the challenges that come with that in terms of funding, in terms of the whole governance, and the operations of the board of the CDA. And this committee has, over this, like I said, 3 times, I think, in its budget and review recommendation report, the PTRR made a recommendation that the Prevention of and the Treatment for Substance Abuse Act should be amended so that the NDA can be given more powers and through to its named authority to implement its very important mandate. So, Chair, I then consulted with some of the people who were there about this, and I even spoke to the gentleman who's from Kenya, Mr. Kirwa. I'm not sure whether he's heading NADA, which is a similar agency in Kenya, was there at the summit on this issue. And he actually highlighted that there is generally a move or a trend in African countries for agencies like NDA to be established as semi-autonomous or autonomous, or have some kind of independency from their ministries.
Sorry, sorry, Yoli. You wanted to say CDA, not NDA.
Yes, CDA.
Okay.
Yes, CDA. Yes, we're talking about CDA. Yes, if I make a mistake, members, pardon me, it's the CDA, not the NDA. Yes, Chair. So we just had a discussion, and then he then has agreed to assist me to come up with other African countries that have adopted that kind of a model, and as well as the countries outside the country. I also engaged with Ms. Nomcebo from the CDA board, because they know more than I do, because they have engagements with this with their counterparts. So, Chair, then that they did identify some countries, and some of them, when I read through of the agencies, I realized their model is a bit different to our model here. But if we have to maybe adopt certain aspects, we can. But I just identified the ones that mainly, our CDA has a similar model to those countries. So these are the countries then, Chair, that I quickly prepared an advisory that Sis Lindy was forwarded to members this morning, because I got the information yesterday. And this is what now is contained in that advisory as a form of a paper, and then, Chair. Do you want me to go through the advisory as well?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. There's okay, starting from across outside the continent, there is the United Kingdom. The UK has this Advisory Council on the Misuse of Drugs. It is an independent expert body that advises the UK government, specifically the Home Office and Health Departments. Actually, I must say, Chair, with these other countries, I realized that this function is mainly located within health than compared to us being social development. But that's just something I need to mention, that it's mainly on health, because I think they see it as a health issue more than a social development issue. Okay, on the control of dangerous or otherwise harmful drugs. And its functions is to make recommendations on the classification and scheduling of controlled drugs, which the NCDA also does. Consider substance being misused with harmful effects, carrying out inquiries into drug use and producing reports, promoting research on preventing drug misuse. That's just in a summary form, this advisory council. But the key thing, this one is an independent one. There is Greece. Greece has not just one agency, which now is a bit of a different model. It addresses that through a network of organizations that collaborate with international partners like the US National Institute on Drug Abuse and the EU Drug Agency. So these agencies, one of them is the Organization Against Drugs, the OCANA, It was established in 1993, and it coordinates and implements the national policy for the prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of individuals with substance use disorders. And it operates with various prevention centers and treatment units across the country. The other one is the University Mental Health, Neurosciences, and Precision Medicine Research Institute. This one is housed with the Greek Monitoring Center for Drugs, Alcohol, and Addictive Behaviors, which serves as a Greek national focal point. This center is responsible for collecting official data, conducting research, and drafting the national reports on drugs and alcohol use in Greece. There's one that is called PADA, and this one is a recent organization that was established in 2022. It focuses on preventing and addressing addictions through innovative initiatives and a scientific approach and public engagements. You can see, Chair, this one is a bit of a different approach than what we have as a CDA. However, the CDA did make a proposal once in this committee that if it's well capacitated, it should function at the same level as SENEC, which now SENEC also conducts research and does what these organizations are doing. So it is maybe something that it can be then motivated or adopted, a model adopted by if the committee sees fit, but we go to Greece. But however, the model is a bit different to what our CDA is mandated and all its functions are. Then, Chair, we have the Czech Republic. This one, it has the Government Council for Addiction Policy Coordination. It is the main permanent advisory, initiating and coordinating body for the Czech government and all substance and non-substance addiction, including illegal drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and gambling. Its role is to coordinate a comprehensive and integrated national policy based on prevention, education, treatment, social services, and regulations. It operates within the Office of the Government of the Czech Republic and is chaired by the Prime Minister. It has a secretariat, which is the Drug Policy Department, which is headed by the National Drug Coordinator. It has the National Monitoring Center for Drugs and Addiction. This NMC is part of the Council Secretariat and serves as the Czech's national focal point for European Union Drugs Agency. And it is responsible for monitoring the situation, collecting data, preparing reports, and coordinating the national early warning system for new psychoactive substances. And okay, this was from where I got my information. Then, Chair, within the continent, we have Mauritius. Mauritius has the National Agency for the Treatment and Rehabilitation of Substance Abusers. And its main objectives are to coordinate and facilitate efforts at national level towards the implementation of programs for the prevention of substance abuse and treatment and rehabilitation of substance abusers, mobilize resources locally and internationally for treatment and rehabilitation of substance abuse, advise, guide, and help voluntary social organizations engaged in the prevention of substance abuse, and its primary focus then is on treatment, rehabilitation, and integration. And it is a good example of an agency specifically dedicated to the health and social aspects of addiction, working alongside with the police for enforcement. I think the members can just maybe see that this is more like now leaning towards what the NTA is currently doing to a certain extent. We have Kenya, the CDA, yes.
NDA.
If I say NDA, scratch CDA. We have Kenya. Kenya has the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse. It is a government agency that was established in 2012. The authority main focus is on demand reduction, which involves providing preventive education, public awareness, life skills, treatment, rehabilitation, psychosocial support to the general public. It also contributes towards supply suppression through policy formulation and capacity building. It coordinates and facilitates interagency collaboration and liaising among lead agencies responsible for alcohol and drug demand reduction, which maybe to a certain extent what the CDA is doing, but at the government level in terms of the three spheres of government. In collaboration with other lead agencies, it facilitates and promotes the monitoring and surveillance of national and international emerging trends and patterns in the production, manufacture, sale, consumption, trafficking, and promotion of alcohol and drug prone to abuse. And in collaboration with other lead agencies, it provides and facilitates the development and operation of rehabilitation facilities, programs, and standards for persons suffering from substance abuse. And it was established by Act of Parliament, the National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse Act, and it operates semi-autonomously to coordinate the national response through law enforcement with police. We have Tanzania. Tanzania has a drug control and enforcement authority, and it was also established by Act of Parliament, the Drug Control Enforcement Act, and it is vested with powers to conduct investigation, arrest, search, and seize. It became operational on 17 February 2017 upon the appointment of the Commissioner General by the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. The functions of the authority are to define, promote, coordinate, and implement all measures geared towards control of drugs, drug abuse, and trafficking in drugs. It is a government agency under the Prime Minister's office with a nationwide jurisdiction for combating drug and trafficking of abuse. Okay, just a policy advice from my side that with the increasing trends in substance abuse and drug abuse, the trend towards establishing specialized semi-autonomous agencies is growing. And these agencies are often combine policy, regulation, treatment, and enforcement functions. So some African countries, such as those listed above, have already adopted this model and then can provide a best practice on the Central Drug Authority in South Africa and how it can be empowered to be semi-autonomous agency. And this can be done by amending the prevention and treatment of substance abuse, which this committee has recommended for in its budget review and recommendation report. The agency of this matter cannot be oversized enough considering the high level of substance abuse in the country and its devastating impact. And I just then mentioned what I just started with, that there was a submission in the CDA summit that the substance abuse and drug abuse be declared a national crisis or a disaster. There's also the example of the United Kingdom and Mauritius and Kenya can then provide best practices on how the CDA can be remodeled. These countries' agencies have similar roles as those of the CDA, but with more authority and independence. Greece and Czech Republic also have good best practices, but their model involves more than one agency, which is not the case in South Africa. It can be considered depending on the feasibility. The Tanzanian model provides a unique practice in that the Drug Control and Enforcement Authority has the power to arrest, to search, and seize, which is what they didn't really find out with other agencies and certainly not with the CDA. Chair, this is what I managed to come up with. I was given other countries as well, but when I looked at them, I realized that they're more really not what our current CDA is in terms of alignment. Yes, Chair, so the committee maybe can deliberate and make a decision on this.
Thank you so much, Yoli, for turning around this report at such short notice, a report that seems to have gone to great lengths to try and capture what it is that we would like to do and what our mandate is as an oversight portfolio committee on this matter. I now see the hand of the Honorable Monyai, and I would like to recognize other hands for us to, given the time that we have, to come up with a decision. In fact, I would be very, I would really appreciate if we can come to a decision today. No pressure at all. Honorable Mnyai?
I will propose between London and Greece because I think that could be helpful. Firstly, I must thank the team for preparing this report. And I'm sure when we come back, we'll have a much more better knowledge. And I must thank you, Chair, for really looking into the current development globally and allow the opportunity for alternative consideration. I must thank the team for their report. And I know in concluding in the decision of the fully or semi, we may have to engage the ministry on those dynamics. But firstly, I'm looking to the issues of the for the study tour or travel. I'll propose London or Greece, one of the two. If we, yeah, thank you.
And so if I had a gun and I held it over your head, which of the two? Because I'm trying to narrow the elimination process between Greece and London. I mean, Greece and United.
I'll definitely go to London.
Okay, that is what I was looking for. Honorable Rev?
Chair, thank you so much.
The gun is already.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you to the team also. I know Honorable Nya is the one that changed us to change from America to look for another place. But again, thank you for consideration, Honorable Chair. I was going to ask, I went to Russia, and the issue here, I think, mainly is the policy of the government itself, the state itself. When I was there, I saw a number of things that there were no in TV, there were no advertising, there were no billboards for any advertising of substance abuse or drugs. So I think mainly we should not just look at the CDA, but it also the government policies around the substance abuse or the drugs itself. So if ever, can we look at also the Russia and also Vietnam, if possible? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Kobaza. I have to say, though, that we do not have time, given the limitations that we have for the timeline that we are working with. But your point is taken. Any other honorable member?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think I will go with Honorable Mnai that we will go to the UK. It's fine like that.
Okay. I am counting. There is Honorable Ramaila. Over to you, sir. Oh, did you shut down? Sorry?
It wasn't me. I support the UK.
Okay.
The chairperson, UK,
Yes.
Mama Khato. I'm supporting Monyai.
Okay. That is noted, Honorable Mahatu. Thank you. Honorable Bishop.
Chairperson, I supporta umhlonishwa umyai.
Oh, okay. I was like sitting at the edge of my seat thinking that you are going to support you know who. Right. The So, honorable members, thank you so much for this, because I'm taking this. This is representing the majority of this portfolio committee. I am sensing an overwhelming leaning towards the UK. So I think this is going on record that this committee has considered and agreed to look at the UK as our tour, best practice, tour on the subject matter of substance abuse, as it is a huge problem that, as the portfolio committee that is oversighting the lead department on this matter, we would like to explore what they are doing in the UK. So, Yoli, you have your, and Lindiwe, of course, you have your marching orders from this committee. I have to thank you again for the work that you have been able to turn around within such a limited time, a very, very short notice. You have heard that the portfolio committee honorable members appreciate this, and so we will take it on from here. Thank you so much, honorable members. Without further ado, I would like to declare this meeting adjourned with a deep gratitude to the honorable members and to our support for the work that you have done. Thank you so much. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Siyabonga,
Enjoy your
Sihlalo.
holiday.
Siyabonga.
Chairperson and
Bye.
honorable members, may you have
Thank you,
honorable
Chair.
members and chairperson, may you have a lovely holiday and a beautiful Christmas with your family and friends. Enjoy your holidays. Thank you.
Thank you
Happy
so much.
holidays, everyone.
Have an amazing Christmas, and please don't do what I wouldn't do in your position. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Chair.